Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Commandant's Podcast.
We live. Sort of.
We did it, sort of.
Hi.
Hi, everyone. Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. We are the Commandant's Podcast. My name's Ebek, and I'm joined, of course, by my friends, where we gather each month and we talk densely upon the many various subjects across the gaming sphere. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Howdy.
How's everyone doing?
It's the
It's the last podcast of the year.
It's the last day of the last podcast of the year, yes. It's the last podcast day of the year. Sorry, was that?
I am retired.
I'm retired. Bleh.
But I'm retired. Fine. Take a nap. It's every five the missiles.
we've been going all the memes in the build-up of today's episode, it seems. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. My name, of course, is Ebek, and I'm joined, of course, by Burr, Shadow, and Lemming.
Hello.
Oh, what a year. What a year. It's the end of the year.
It's definitely been a year.
We've survived 2024. It seems to be the as the years go on, it's less that we've reached the end of the year, more like we've survived the end of the year.
Yeah, and I'm looking at I'm that little cartoon of all the guys hiding behind the wall, just poking the door of 2025 open with a stick because I know what's coming.
Yes.
And I don't want to.
It's a shame that they're not the French taunters. So I don't know why that's a hilarious image to me.
Go away, or we will taunt you for a second time.
Slight tangent. I'm pretty sure I shared this. Have you guys seen a group of people went to Comic-Con dressed as them?
I have, yes.
I haven't seen that.
Or
Good.
they went to a con, but they had like a drape that looked like a castle, so they could hang it over a banister, so they could then taunt people.
All the banisters and taunting people. It was great.
That is such a great costume idea. It's like there are costumes, and then there are costumes that are like next level. And that is one of those next level costumes.
I love those meta ones. Yeah.
Which is even better because it's a next level group costume as well.
I still can't
Love
get
it.
over the one con where somebody came in as like a proper animatronic dinosaur kind of thing, like proper like moving head and everything. It's just like holy shit, man.
Yeah. But you're muted on your device. But if you're wondering why we can't hear you, we can't hear you. I was wondering why we can't hear the Burr.
We want to hit the bar.
Speak to us. Speak.
Speak.
I sometimes hate technology.
Oh,
Hello.
don't we all? Hello, Burr.
Now I do need a drink.
I will say thank you very much for the subscription, Lemon Ross. I do appreciate that.
No worries.
I know you're one of the hosts of the show, but thank you very much. Kind of,
That's like money
I
laundering.
mean, it would be rude of me.
I don't know if it's money laundering. I don't know if it's not fraud. It's just
No.
he watches the stuff when I
Just
stream.
because I'm here doesn't mean I don't appreciate Ebak's channel.
That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it's not like he's paying me any of this.
I'm not. You get nothing.
End of the month, yeah.
You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Exposure.
People die of exposure.
Up.
If you want to read, if you want to read my fan fiction, don't.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Well, so it is the last day of the year. It is the last podcast of the year, and today we're going to be talking about, well, pretty much whatever we take our minds to. Although the key, kitty, it's here. The kitty's here somewhere. Somewhere here.
You see, now there's attention deficit. Hey, look, a cat.
It's up there in that corner. There she is.
I'm of course going to open.
You've woken up specifically with snacks.
Yeah.
No, what a
Her name is
surprise.
Shaka and not Shaka, as
Shaka.
whatever weird pronounces.
I think he says darker.
Yeah.
Litzy Rimsey says kitty. Yes. So
Yeah,
let's let's kick off with
Kitty.
what have we been playing for the last month, because we always do this, and I always pick someone randomly to do this, and that person might have already volunteered themselves without realizing it, and that person is Shadow.
I've been playing Go Fuck Yourself.
Oh damn.
No, I have actually been playing video games.
Is that on
Is
Steam?
that on Steam?
There's a lot of porn games on Steam, but I don't have any porn games on Steam except maybe 2. But they're not porn games. Never mind. Never mind.
Look,
Okay.
ever since they added the the hide button, I've got no shame.
I have no shame anyway.
Yeah, I've got no shame either.
It'll just pop up on Steam. Like, just deal with it. Anyway, I
Yeah.
have been playing video games. I swear. It's been mostly old school RuneScape though, because I had a nostalgia spike at some point, and I was like, hey, I could play RuneScape for free, and then I did, and then I lost all of my.
I yearn for the runes.
Yeah, I yearned for the mines. I yearned for the mines, and it actually helped that basically it's been split off from like the main RuneScape game. So everybody had to like make a new account for old school RuneScape, which is nice to start again, honestly. Even if like
From what
it's fucking forever.
seen of you playing, you yearned for fire trains.
Look, there is reasons. I eventually stopped playing RuneScape like I always do, because at some point, like the repetitive nature of it just stops being fun after a while. It's just like meh.
Yeah, I can appreciate that. Yeah.
It served its purpose and it had to go.
Yeah, but aside from that, what I've been recently playing, as of maybe just a couple of minutes ago, is Coral Island. I finally got back to it because I bounced off it the first time because it had some decisions made about it that I didn't quite agree with, like losing energy when your tool is used, but you don't hit anything with it. And I was like, why the fuck would you do that? Thankfully, they have hotfixed that out finally, and also now so it's been alright. Except the bug catching is still cancer, so I modded that out, and I've recently realised I still get Steam achievements. So, so yeah, that's being my my thing of choice. And I've also been playing another game, which I'll get to when we get to our games of the year and stuff.
Fantastic. As normal, I'll have accompanying video showing us, of course, the Coral and trailer, which you can see here. Little nice sort of cozy kind of almost. Well, it's a farming game.
Yeah, it's a farming game with a lot of extra. It's kind of like a baby between Harvest Moon and Animal Crossing, and also a bit of Stardew Valley with the fighting in the mines. One thing I really like about Coral Island though is it's got a lot of Malaysian influences. There's a lot of Malaysian mythology in there, and it's got the twist of a much more environmental theme to it, and a focus on like curing the sea as well, which I find really interesting. Seeing the different cultures kind of like in a game, because a lot of farming sim games tend to be westernized, or they have Japanese influences because Harvest Moon, Story of Seasons kind of thing. So it's nice to see another culture being represented within the scene.
No, you're absolutely correct.
And it's also like fucking gorgeous as well. Like
It looks
the
gorgeous.
The art of the characters is just chef's kiss. Just such a beautiful game.
Fantastic. Okay, anything else you've been playing?
I have been playing a couple of other games, but we'll get to them later.
Okay, all right then. Lemming, what have you been playing?
This month, for my lunch breaks at work, thanks to the power of the Nintendo Switch, I've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist Link Evolution.
That's a title.
Yeah, it's basically every main Yu-Gi-Oh! Series condensed into a game where you play all the duels that happen throughout that series.
Oh wow!
I've been playing it for a few months, and I've only completed one of the series.
I've never played. Yeah, I've never played Yu-Gi-Oh! So yeah.
Yeah. Do you do the Dungeon the Dice Monsters one?
No,
Ah, fair.
not that I've seen anyway. But no, it's just Duel Monsters or Yu-Gi-Oh! The game, for the most part. And
Yeah.
while
I have
when
a
I
different question.
oh.
What is it with Japanese games and 3-line titles?
They like descriptive titles, I guess. I mean, hell, there's some anime out there with ridiculously long name.
Yeah, I've seen some anime titles, and it's like, okay,
Uh,
sure.
Yeah.
Just, but what I'll just ignore that. I've looked it up. I'm not gonna bother. But when I get home, I've been playing. The last few days I've been playing a lot of Escape from Tarkov because it's been a wipe and everyone's starting from scratch and there's new stuff in the game. Unfortunately, this particular wipe hasn't brought enough stuff to the game and everybody's complaining.
As normal.
But
Oh,
as
no.
I play PVE, which is the official like not playing against people mode, I've been fairly enjoying it. But beyond that, Baldur's Gate 3, obviously. Project Wingman had their formerly Sony PlayStation exclusive DLC drop, and it broke the game.
Oh, okay.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's virtually unplayable in VR.
Oh,
Oh no.
You can get it to a playable state, but you can't play it through Steam. You have to open the Steam app in the Oculus app to get it to work in VR.
that to be fair, that is speaking as a VR user. That kind of is a problem with some VR games, unless you've got a very powerful rig. Because the problem is you then got to run Steam in the background. Steam takes up quite a lot of resources when it's in Steam VR, because it's running its own proprietary
Usually no
VR
problem
service.
until this one.
Yeah.
Power Wash Simulator finally fixed itself. Yay! Haven't even cleared the first level of the Shrek DLC yet. And Tactical Breach Wizards. Thank you, Weird FTW. I'm very much enjoying this game for the past few days. Tactical Breach Wizards is really good. If you want to bring up the trailer for that,
I'm doing it right now. Yes.
jolly good. Urban fantasy. I like urban fantasy. Wizards, werewolves, vampires. Fantasy stuff in modern setting. I very much like that. So when I saw a wizard, blatantly a wizard, got the wizard's hat in full tactical gear, I was all in. There's also somebody dressed in a complete high vis robe, which I have yet to meet them. I want to meet them because that's brilliant. It is a turn-based
And also, it's a police
puzzle game.
procedural comedy with magic.
Oh yeah. It's also basically a turn-based puzzle game, which is quite difficult at times. I've already just started and I'm getting puzzled. Yeah. And highly recommended. And Weird bought me for Christmas.
Also made by Tom Francis, the same man who made Gunpoint.
Yeah.
Gunpoint's a
Got
great
brilliant sense of
game.
humor. It just showed on the screen your team medic, who is a necromancer. She heals you by killing you first.
I mean,
And then resurrecting you.
If I may add one thing, I love the way how we figured out it was made by Tom Francis, because I was really hyped when I was playing demo and I was constantly spamming Shadow with the jokes from the game. She was like, "Hold on, I recognize that style. Was it made by Tom Francis?"
Yep. I mean, it helps that the first thing you do is kick somebody out of a window.
Yes.
Yeah, that's exactly. But that's what happens to the protagonist in Gunpoint. They get kicked out of a window. Literally.
Yeah, but now you're the one
first-
kicking people out of windows.
Well, in fairness, you do kick people out of windows in Gunpoint too. So.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yes, I will say,
Yeah.
Lemming. Have you
So
ever?
he's
I was going to say, Lemming. Have you ever looked at the TTRPG series Shadowrun?
Heard of it? Yes.
Because that's
I
very
actually,
much.
I'm pretty.
That's very much urban fantasy, a little bit mostly cyberpunk. It might be up your alley.
I own 4 of the games.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Not played
I
any
was-
of them,
I
but
was
I
about
own
to
4
ask
of them.
whether Yeah, I was about to ask whether you have a GOG account that you can share with Shadow and we can see about things, but If you have them,
I have
that's
them on
already
Steam.
half of the work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did finish Shadowrun Returns a long time ago in a galaxy far,
Mm.
far away, and I remember that being entertaining, but also batshit insane near the end. It was very fun.
Makes sense.
Off
Yeah,
its
that's
front.
about it for me for this month.
Okay, then. In that case, Burr, what have you been playing?
Oh, I am in a pretty precarious situation because 2 of the 3 games that I played this month are in my on my list, in my top 5.
Fair enough. Yeah, in that case, we won't talk about them.
About them now.
Well, let's wait. Let's
Okay, I will
let's
talk
kind of
about them later then.
yeah, because Shadow's left to say the same thing,
I'll
and
talk
I'm
about them later then.
I'm
Yes.
probably also going to do the same thing with a couple of them as well. So at least one of
Yeah.
them.
So,
Go on.
so the only game that I can talk about would be a game that I was like looking at the games that I want to play in 2025, and I thought, hold on, it's a pretty short game. I can probably like shift it. I can fit it somewhere before the end of the year, and I did, and I was very happy from about it. 'Cause
Okay, we'll give us that.
I have received Steam Deck as a Christmas gift, and I
Nice.
decided as I knew that it's a great machine to play point and clicks on. I've decided to play Excavation of Hobbs Barrow on it, and it's a brilliant game. It's a really fun, very well made point and click. It's a cosmic horror game. It's very Cthulhu-esque. And it's very northern because it happens somewhere in Yorkshire, and everyone's speaking with Yorkshire accent, and everyone's very happy to see outsiders. So you can you can tell it's Yorkshire, and it's really amazing story, really well drawn, fantastic voices. Everything is everything is voiced. It sounds great. The puzzles are very interesting. I loved it. Not a very long game, 10 hours, and I was done with it. And I was really hooked in. I finished it in 2 days, and it was super fun.
Yeah, it seems that the pixel art style tends to lend itself to that otherworld, almost uncanny valley feel to the game. Yeah.
Yes.
Tell me, Miss Bateman, do you believe in God?
Yeah.
It's very interesting. God, I'm quite curious about myself. I'm someone who's not really big onto horror, but like existential kind of like weird religion shit. Definitely my kind of vibe.
Existential dread.
Yeah, this is not the jump scare kind of horror. This is the proper
Atmospheric.
Cthulhu-esque kind of creeping madness, atmospheric kind of. Am I losing my mind? Is something going on in this village, or is it my mind kind of horror?
Yay, existential dread horror.
Our favorite.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah, because we don't have that in real life.
Yeah, of course we don't. It's all fictional.
Fine, don't
Yeah,
worry.
why do you think I read the SCP Foundation?
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. So I've been busy. There's a particular game which I won't be mentioning because that is again also part of my what we'll talk about later, which I think Burr was also going to talk about. I have also been playing quite. I've been playing quite because it's Christmas and I find myself with a lot of time on my hands after work because I finish work earlier at Christmas. I found myself playing more games. I recently have been trying Locomotive.
Oh, I want to play that. I got gifted that by somebody, and it's like, oh, I want to play it. But...
Yeah, if anyone who's curious about what Locomotive is, and I've not no spoilers, but it is a whodunit point and click adventure set on a train with a very good art style, very much evocative of the old LucasArts games. The humor is definitely on the same kind of point. As we can see, it's just be a flesh wound. No, it's definitely not a flesh wound.
Yeah, I saw our friend Connor Scarfulu play the demo of this, and it looks really, really good.
Cut down her prom. She was 78. You know, just like it's like, oh dear. Anyway, but yeah, great game so far. I've only played literally about 15 minutes of it. Already hooked on it. Great game. And the art style is very lovely crafted. It's one of those times where, you know, you see what modern pixel art can do, because, you know, pixel art is pixel art, but when you see what pixel art can do when it's given like a big budget and like big kind of, you know, good quality, it can do some amazing things. And yeah, it's great style.
Yeah,
And the artists are paid well.
Yes, exactly.
yeah, a lot of like people look down their nose at pixel art, and I can't understand why, because a lot of gorgeous games are pixel art for me. Like I've seen sprite art that makes me like double take kind of thing.
I think it's a little bit of where some people haven't grown out of the it's, you know, 3D is superior because it's 3D phase. You know, that kind of period where we kind of went through the revolution of, okay, we're moving on to 3D games without realizing
Really realistic and brown kind of thing.
without realizing actually no, games can be stylized, they can have a style. 2D is its own style and genre, and games don't have to be 3D.
I think it's also a case of some people equate 2D with cartoons.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that-
Therefore for children.
I think that's what happens with animation as well, because a lot of people tend to see animation as like for kids. And let me tell you, if you saw X-Men 97 this year, that was not for children. That was
Yeah.
not for children.
Absolutely
hell,
not.
I think I was 14 when I saw Fist of the North Star on Channel 4 late night, and that shit is not for kids. The dude punches a dude a few times and then his head explodes. It's like,
Yeah, I watched an anime when I was like 14, and it's like there are dogs tearing bears apart. No, that's not for kiddos.
and that's the family stuff.
I-
That's like your Studio Ghibli has stuff like that in it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I saw Akira when I was 16, and that
there you
shit's not for children either.
I've also been streaming as well. This next game, which of course I've been streaming. Yeah, I've been streaming, and I'll be streaming this game next, which is the Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver 1 and 2 remastered.
Oh yeah.
I've been playing a little bit of one. I've done one stream of one, and I wanted to focus on the other game, which I'll talk about later. But I will be returning to Soul Reaver 1 and 2 once that game is complete. I am a big fan of the series, Gothic Shakespeare, as I affectionately refer to it as. And I've enjoyed bringing people along with me on this journey through the game, of which I love. Yeah, it's great. It's also one of the best examples of how to do a remaster. So yeah, absolutely. You know, with cut content being restored, like for example, the game has a day and night system, which it just is there for looks. That was supposed to be in the original game. It was cut at the last minute, but they've restored it. You know, there's lost levels. Those haven't been restored, but they are playable in the game as a separate thing that you can look at and explore to see what an area would have been like. So it's very fascinating. Yeah, and of course, the voice cast, amazing as always.
And if I remember right, now that they've added full 3D controls, as in you're able to move the camera around, they added a skybox.
Yeah, that's the day-night cycle. Yeah.
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 So yeah, there's that.
I wanted to ask you one thing
Yeah.
regarding those masters, because I've heard voices on the internet that say that, yeah, it's a pretty good remaster, but people want a remake, not a remaster. They want a new retelling of the story instead of just repurposing the original.
I think people need to remember what Legacy of Kain was before you can have that remake.
Yeah, that's the problem, is that it's a big risk to task for these days. Companies are very risk averse, and I hate that. But that's the thing. You need to know that they are going to have. They need to know they're going to have a return on their investment. Legacy of Kain was a very darling series when it was out. Am I saying it wasn't successful? No, it was. It was successful. It definitely was a cult kind of classic that caught on, and it did fall off quite quickly. Like Soul Reaver 2 didn't sell as well. Blood Omen 2 didn't sell as well. Defiance, terrible sales. The point that Defiance is the end of the story, and that ends on a kind of a cliffhanger. It has a resolution, but it definitely implies there's more to come. And that's the thing. I think people would like to see another entry, and I think that's the hope for this, is that if we then get Blood Omen 2 remastered and Defiance remastered, which I think would be next, would make sense, that we would get the conclusion game many years later, or reboot the series into something new. Especially since the series is so batshit crazy with its time travel. I mean, it's one of those weird games where time travel doesn't work like time travel. You'd expect time travel to work. The idea that no, time can't be rewritten. You always did those events, but you can change events under very specific conditions. It's an interesting kind of way of doing time travel in that series. The idea that you always went back in time because you always did go back in time. That always happened like that.
It's kind of like it's like that paradox where you go back in time to kill your parents, kind of thing, but you have to have been born in order to go back to kill your parents, kind of thing.
Yeah, the idea, because some of the themes of the game is that everything's preordained. There is no there's all destiny. No one has free will. You're all tied to an illusion of free will, because even though you think you have free will, you are just doing the events as they are to come to actually. It's a whole theme. I recommend playing it. We'll explore that more as we play through 1 and 2. We've already seen a little bit of that pop up. I did dabble a little bit with the Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection. A little bit of that, just getting a bit of training in. A bit of training. I'm terrible at these games.
Yeah, no, I've got to pick that up. But a part of me is just like, I don't want to touch it, because then I've got to actually like put effort in.
That's fair. And then the one I'm going to mention the most before I go into a surprising one is Star Trucker.
Yes.
I booted that up a couple of days ago. I think I first played it on Saturday. I'm like, I'm going to give Star Trek a try. It was like, I think it was like 10 o'clock at night. I'll boot up Star Trek, give it a try. And I was like, okay, I've been trucking. Holy, it's 6 a.m. I better get some sleep. And yeah.
Like chat, he was still in like in the hangout put. It was very funny actually, because I was playing Forager at the time, and I was like, it seems a little late. How long? What do you mean it's 20 minutes to? What do you mean it's 20 minutes to 1? So I put it down. I look in Discord, and L is still in. He's still in hangout post, presumably playing Star Trek, and I'm like, should you be in bed?
Yeah, just for anyone to reference, the Hangout Post is our public Discord chat channel, which you can join right there. Feel free to pop in there if you guys want. And we're a very welcome community, and we've crafted a nice little community here. So yes, I appreciate that. Anyway, I got so like, I loved it because it's
one of those things where like it's just one more job.
Yeah, just one more job, just one more haul, and especially since you've got like. People think, well, what's so interesting about it? Well, first of all, it's just I do like the charming nature, which I'm going to bring up the trailer for Star Trucker in this as well.
Yeah, I will say, as somebody who watched you play it for a little while, it's surprisingly hypnotic to just watch somebody like pick up maglev to the trailer, just like hauling it across. And I love like the gate jumps, which remind me a lot of like mass relays, of just shooting you across the galaxy, and then when you come into the next gate, the rings that slow you down, the boom, boom, boom. Nice about it.
There's a charm to it as well of like it's simply a truck with 2 jet engines attached to it and this omnidirectional thruster bank at the back, and the idea you've got to back up, and you think, oh, do you control my buttons? No, you have to actually look in the cockpit, look at the controls, turn like the lever to engage the mag lock, and things like that. And then of course there's the whole trading aspect of buy low, sell high, while also getting it. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm taking a load to this location, but that they're buying energy cells high. So if I buy energy cells low on the way there from this location, I can then sell them, make another profit at the same time. And it is very, and also there's a storyline going on as well with the other truckers, which is interesting in its own right. It's this whole universe. I like it brought up the one of the routes through is a this very dense asteroid field in like an energy storm, and someone brought up the was it the Star Path Beautification Act, which is what so people can't put billboards along there. I thought, what? So it's this whole universe, and I love it. I played it pretty much. I played it on Saturday morning, if we call it that, and then I played it for the Sunday morning, and then I played it for the rest of the day when I woke up for Saturday afternoon, all the way through the evening. Great game, loving Star Trucker. I do wish it was VR.
Yeah, I will also say it's got a lovely blend of not only like American trucking culture, but also British traffic culture. It's very interesting to see like American signs, and then you see like the British sign for like an approaching motorway exit, like just before the hyperspace jumps. The warp jump. Sorry, I love that. I just love that. It's so charming.
And actually, you get gone.
And this,
It was one mission, like your character had, that it'd been to a party, like a raucous party, and someone had put cones on top of like the communications antenna.
Yes, and that was at Tommy T's Burger and Star Grill, which is like this big retro 50s style space station with trucks outside it. I love it. Yeah, really fun. And funny you say that, because one of my favorite things is I unlocked the breach, was it the radiation shielding? So you can like bring down this shutter and it protects you against solar flares. So then you have to navigate via the monitors, which is like very interesting. Yeah, great game. Highly recommend Star Trucker, and it's also very cheap right now on Steam. At least it is for the next 24 hours. I think is when the sale ends. I think we lost a lemming.
I think you've got until the second question mark.
There we go. And the last.
You got until the second. Okay.
And the last game I'm going to mention, which it surprised me, Pokemon Let's Go Eevee.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know why. I thought crossed my mind. Yes, I thought I feel like playing some Pokemon, and I booted up Scarlet and Violet, and I think I've actually finally started to vibe with it a little bit. And I think it's because after the months of waiting, receiving the game, and it being a bit of a disappointment, I'm finally kind of seeing it through its lens of like, this is what it is, and I can appreciate it for what it is. But that in turn made me like, wonder how my dex is. Oh, okay, well, there's a Pokemon here to collect. Oh, I thought I never did pick up Let's Go Eevee, and so I thought I'll pick up Let's Go Eevee, and so I've been playing that. And of course, it's such a interesting thing because I'm part of the OG crew. I had Pokemon Blue and Yellow back in the day on my Game Boy Color. I still have the cartridges somewhere in this room. God knows where they are. I did think we lost Lemming. Hopefully Lemming will be back soon. Yeah, and it was so interesting to kind of see this world I'm familiar with in a new shiny form, because I've played that, and of course I've played Fire Red and Leaf Green as well. It's also fascinating because it allows me to kind of see, oh, now I get what people were disappointed by Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, because there's no comparison. The original, welcome back, Lamping. Yeah, the Let's Go Eevee is much better visually, in a visual style, than Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. I can understand now why people were upset with those, and I do wish the game. I'm not a fan of the catching feature, the way it uses the Let's Go or the Pokemon Go like gesture catching. The fact you have to use a Joy-Con is annoying, but a very good game and very enjoyable overall so far. So yeah, that's why I literally was playing Let's Go Eevee up until about an hour before the show. So. And the soundtrack is gorgeous. Like when I heard Vermilion City, I was like, oh, it sounds so gorgeous. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I've been playing. Go on.
Yeah, I would love to pick up Scarlet on a sale if Nintendo had them.
Yeah, we've discussed this before, how Nintendo are very sale averse, and it's kind of because they know they can get away with not having a sale.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the main reason. The only time I ever played a Pokemon game was when a friend went, oh, it's 3 generations behind. Here, have this one.
I mean, put it this way. I purchased Let's Go Eevee from the Nintendo Wii shop When did that game come out?
I don't know, but I bet it was 40 quid.
No, I'm going to do this properly. Let's Go Eevee. So, Let's Go Eevee was released in 2018. So that is 6 years ago. November 2018. So it's literally over 6 years ago. And the game still cost me $49.99.
Yep.
Whoa!
And it's like Nintendo, it's Christmas. Screw you. You know, I was hoping to find some kind of discount, but no. Yeah, screw me, I guess. But yeah, so I'm on the Pokemon kick again. I've reinstalled I've not just got Violet installed. I've reinstalled Shield. I've reinstalled Shining Pearl. I've reinstalled Arceus. I'm all in.
Really need to get back to mine, but I just haven't like I go on and off. Like sometimes sometimes I'll be like, yeah, I really want to play a Pokemon game. Yeah. And then other times I'm like, yeah, whatever.
I have these moments as well where I'll get like hyperfixated on a certain kind of genre or game series for a while. Whenever WWE release their yearly title, I'll be very invested in wrestling for a couple of months, and then I'll kind of peter off a little bit, and then I'll still be interested, but I won't be as fascinated. And then like I'll get hit with like a Pokemon craze. Usually that happens like once every few years. I'll just be hit slammed with a Pokemon train. Usually it's around about hype, but there's no hype for a current thing, so I don't know what's happened suddenly. But yeah.
Yeah, I am kind of glad that we haven't had like we haven't had news for like Pokemon in quite some time. I think in doing that, it's let everything just settle down for a while, and people are actually going back to like Scarlet and Violet and like seeing, well, like, okay, maybe they're not the best Pokemon games, but they're all right for what they are.
Oh no, I am gonna absolutely say they're fucking awful. It's okay. That's being a bit harsh. It has its problems. I appreciate for what it is, but going open world, I think was a big mistake for Pokemon. Not committing to the any route, like where we're doing the game, was probably the fact is like, oh, you can go any route, but there's still a preferred route through this. Nah. And of course, the fact is the game's optimization is dog shit. You know, the fact it's like, you know, I'm getting 20 FPS. And I know people say, oh, FPS isn't really that big a deal. When I'm paying 50 fucking quid for a game, I would
at least be 30.
At
Come on.
least 30. At that price, I'm wanting 60. And if you can't give me 60, at least give me a consistent 30. You can't even give me that.
Especially when it's literally the only platform the game is available on.
Yeah, the only problem. They don't have to optimize for anything. It's just the Switch. They don't have to optimize for any other console. It's just the Switch. And also the fact is, it is the largest franchise that Nintendo run. That company has bank. It can afford to splash out. I honestly think the way I see it, I sometimes wonder if Game Freak isn't just like a team of 5 developers in a basement. They sometimes throw a paycheck down the stairs at a distance every now and then, and just say, make magic with that, you know. And it's like,
hey, make a thing.
Yeah, and then there's all these executives up there with their Rolls fucking Royces and such.
Yeah,
You have 6.
Shadow.
Magic, you have 6 months.
No, first.
No, that's it. I just wanted to say, they say make magic, you have 6 months.
Yeah,
And yeah,
I think that's pretty much it. I think they've been like basically been like, we need a Pokemon game a year kind of thing, or nearly a Pokemon game a year.
Yeah.
And I think this is the first time where they've not done that. And I think personally that's been very good for, one, the game, hopefully, and 2, for the community as a whole, because I think it's allowed us to calm the fuck down.
not just that. I think
Because I personally was getting burnt out on Pokemon. By the time Scarlet and Violet turned around, and when we discovered that it was less than advertised, I was kind of like, well, I'm out of this. I just can't be fucked. I mean, Scarlet and Violet is the first mainline Pokemon game since Generation 2 that I've not picked up.
yeah, I would say that when it comes to media empires, Pokemon is the one that is most interconnected with its different branches. You know, it's not like Star Wars where we can have then make a Cal Kestis game. And if it's delayed 6 months, it's fine. Nothing is coming out that's affecting the Cal Kestis game because it's its own thing. It's not like there's the Cal Kestis show that it needs to tie into. Things like that. But with Pokemon, it's like, well, we've got an anime that's arriving at this time that goes into this region, and that comes alongside the TCG, so the cards need to be ready for that. So the game needs to be ready for that. You cannot delay the game because it needs to be ready by then. And I think that's the problem, is that because there's so many cogs working together in that machine, they can't keep up. And I think the problem with that is and that's why I think I'd like the anime to try and do things more like the Orange Islands, where they have their own thing going on, where it is separate from the games. Sorry?
They're kind of doing that now, because I noticed with Journeys that was a lot more separate from the Galar story
Mm.
than I expected it to be, because it took us quite a while for us to even see some of the Galar. We saw some of the gym leaders before, and then it only took us moving to like the new group, like with Ash gone and everything, for us to even see gym leaders like Kaboo and stuff like that.
Yeah, and same thing there with the fact that the card's also focusing on more like you've got what is it, 900 Pokemon? You can reprint a few ones for a few sets. Just please give them time to cook, because I'd say Scarlet and Violet are the key examples of what happens when a franchise is monetized and key to that systematic process without thought of the quality of the product.
Well, personally, I think we were starting to see the effects with Sword and Shield.
Oh,
Sword
yeah.
and Shield was good enough that it managed to skirt by. Like, I really enjoyed Sword and Shield.
Me too.
Personally, kind of thing. But a lot of people could see the cracks forming. Like, you could see where things were like cut back, or like, because there was a whole, like, the Isle of Armor was put into DLC because they couldn't put it into the main game in time, kind of thing. And you could see that it was a good game, like really, really good. But like the cracks were beginning to show of a team that was just pushed a little, just being pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed. And then with Scarlet and Violet, it became incredibly obvious that this was being developed almost the same time as like Sword and Shield, and they were literally like,
There's that,
and it was,
and the fact that Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl were outsourced.
yes.
For the first time ever, Pokemon was outsourced to another company. That itself speaks volumes, I think. Not that they did. It's just basically that we don't have the time. We don't have the time to make a remake. We don't have the time and resources to make a remake. We have to get someone else to do it.
I think that's why it kind of suffered, kind of thing. Because the first time when we got Heart Gold and Soul Silver, that was a brilliant merge of the Gold and Silver games and Crystal all together into one. Whilst Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl were literally just Diamond and Pearl with extra bits on, when really it should have been
Platinum.
Baseline Platinum split into two, like had happened. And I will go to my grave forever annoyed they didn't use Platinum as a base.
I just hope that if they are making a remake of the Unova series, Black and White, I just hope that's going to go up, because that's my favorite area. The art, and I think the art style, they nailed it with that. The whole sprites, it was such a revolutionary move, I think. The Unova series, before they moved to 3D with X and Y, of course, it was like Pokemon, and it's like, this is the peak that we can do with pixel art of Pokemon. So I'd like to see where they can take that in 3D graphics while retaining a good art style. But yeah, okay, those are the games we've been playing. Sorry to kind of go on a little bit there at the end of Pokemon.
Hey, that's why we started early, right?
And that's also why we have the show. We do comment densely. Yes, what we do. Right then, shall we get into what is I'm tentatively calling our main feature tonight, which is us discussing the Game Awards in a general overview, not like very detail, and also our games of the year. So let's quickly go into it. Who actually watched the Game Awards this year?
Yeah, I was gonna say, boss, I gotta confess to you, I have not watched that shit.
That's fine.
I
like what, half of it?
Yeah, it landed at an awkward time for me, so
Same, yeah.
Yeah.
I basically
Yeah.
just went. And also I will be I'll be honest. A part of me was like, I don't really want to watch like a corp. It's like I don't really want to watch corporate shill kind of thing. If I want to,
Yeah,
like,
I
I'll
wasn't
just
really
get the
bothered by it.
text notes and I'll be done, kind
Well,
of thing.
it's kind of. I mean, I do like watching all these announcement shows, and it is a glorified announcement show with awards in there. I do like they gave a bit more time to the awards this year. In the areas they gave time for people to actually talk this year, which is good, and also acknowledging like the problems are in the industry, actually acknowledging the problems in the industry,
Yeah.
which I know people criticize things, but I also understand it's a very dicey thing that if you're criticizing the people who are funding your show. So
I mean, for someone who is as dependent on the money from corporate sponsors as Jeff Keighley, it was for someone like that. It was a pretty strong-worded uh, statement that he's done. But in general, it was very wishy-washy. He's just said, "Yeah, there is a problem, and we know there is a problem,
yeah,
and that's the only thing we can do to address it."
yeah, because no one was called out specifically, which is I
Yeah.
think because you can't, because at that point that company's just going to pull out, and so I do understand there is a bit of playing politics that Keeley's got to do. I
Yeah, I
understand.
mean,
Go on.
yeah. The other thing is also it's easier to list the publishers that had not been part of the problem.
Too true. Too true. Painful, but true. Yeah. So, first of all, the Muppets. Well, we're gonna start off with there. I very much enjoyed that. The comedy was great.
I feel like that was done on purpose so that there was not as much critics criticizing of the show if the show criticizes itself with Statler and Waldorf,
Well,
because they were really going off on Jeff Keighley.
they
like,
were.
yeah.
They were.
Please wrap it up.
They were
And,
making
like,
the actual arguments
yeah.
that people make every single year, which I think
yeah,
was.
also, like, why
Go
is
on.
there so many seats? Why is there so few people? Everyone's. I mean,
We always
when
hear that you
there's so
sell
few
out.
people, he's always selling out.
You know, yeah. One thing I think it's important to remember that they were celebrating 10 years of the Game Awards as well for that as well.
Yeah.
So it kind of was that, and I think it was also. I actually kind of like that Keighley is aware and is not afraid to mock himself. There's nothing.
Yeah.
There's nothing that to me. There's nothing more humble than someone who's like, I don't mind if someone mocks it because it's true.
Yeah.
You know, where someone's like, I don't want someone to mock this. This is precious. No,
Yeah.
because fragile egos. It shows that Keighley doesn't really have much of an ego himself.
Yeah.
I got a lot of respect for that, for being able to just take
Yeah.
it on the chin, kind of thing. I mean,
So-
I remember quickly. I remember seeing a meme of like they were like, "Hey, what would you like to?" That was something he said like, "What would you like to see in the next year's Game Awards?" And it was basically everybody just posting the "Please wrap it up" thing.
Yeah, please wrap it up.
Very funny.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you didn't hear him like have a tantrum about it or anything. You just like, all right then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To what you said, I just wanted to counter argument with there is one thing that he did not take a hint on, and Hideo Kojima had his own like 10-minute segment anyway.
Yeah. True. But that's Hideo Kojima for you. Right. So I'm gonna do the quick fire on this. Because there are a lot of nominees and winners. So I'm just gonna go the award and the winner. Any kind of mentions on there. I'll leave the player's choice to the very end, because I have my own thoughts on that. And we're gonna get into eBag's little ranting corner. Okay. So viewing all categories, we have best esports team. Not going to cover it. I'm literally going to move on from that. Next, move along. Again, no disrespect. We're here to focus on the games, not the people. Although there'll be examples of that. You want that, you can check out the Game Awards. Best esports game. We have League of Legends winning again, which I thought not a game of the year, but fair enough. We have most anticipated game of next year. We have the nominees being Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, Ghost of Yotai, Grand Theft Auto 6, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, and Monster Hunter Wilds. Of course, the winner was Grand Theft Auto 6.
Yeah, no
Um,
surprises there.
No surprises
Yeah,
there.
I was half expecting Monster Hunter, but yeah.
Oh
like,
no, not.
How are you going to compete?
How are you
against
going to
that?
compete with Grand Theft Auto? You know, it's
Yeah,
it's
no.
GTA.
Even,
It's just,
even a juggernaut like Monster Hunter, like
Yeah, no. If everyone is gonna be now like, we can't put a date on a release because who knows when GTA 6 is released.
honestly, if I put a release date down and then I heard that GTA like 6 was nearby, I'd just be like, guys, it's fine. We're just gonna push it back. It's fine.
yeah. You are
Yeah.
not.
take
you-
an extra 3 months in development. It's fine.
I am very curious because there's going to be games that just don't push it back. I am very curious to see which games are so confident that they
Yeah.
can compete with GTA 6.
Some
I
games
would-
can do
yeah.
it, but they have to be like a completely different niche to get Theft Auto 6.
Yeah,
they have
no,
to be like really niche and quite high up the food chain.
I don't think there's a game that can like compete against and like have a player base that will know what to go into GTA 6 at
What-
least somewhat.
Watch Nintendo say we're going to sell the Switch 2 on the day that Grand Theft Auto 6 drops.
And they're the only company that could do it. Only Nintendo could do that.
Only
Yeah.
Nintendo could do that and pull it off as well.
But still, Nintendo would have to be some strong initial titles with that.
Yeah, well, I think
don't know, they've got quite a rabid fan base. They might be able to.
yeah, and also let's face it, they're
Like-
probably going to aim to have we've not had another Super Mario game for ages. It's
Yeah,
probably going to be a
true.
launch title with the Switch
Yeah.
too.
If they do release a Switch 2 with a new Super Mario game at the same time as GTA 6, I just want to see all those Mario versus whoever the protagonist of GTA 6
God.
is pictures and memes.
That's going to be amazing.
I want to see what they did with Animal Crossing and Doom. I want to see them be friends, crossover. You got Mario stealing cars and crashing them.
Mario Kart, so of course he's going to be driving. You know.
Or just call Luigi if you need your claims adjusted.
Oh, do you know what? I am not going to be surprised if that is somehow lampooned in GTA 6.
Yeah.
GTA 6. Think people because I know that some people here are not big GTA players. I am because I love how GTA holds a mirror up to society and like look at ourselves.
yeah.
You know.
I mean, GTA is basically a National Lampoon, but with like stealing cars.
Yeah,
Bad language.
it is a satire of America and the Americana in that respect, and I love the fact that it does that. And I do wonder, I do worry that there's a lot of people these days who may have missed that little factoid that it is.
Oh my god, L. The GTA 6's release is gonna be a bloodbath. Can you imagine all the fucking grifters losing their minds?
Yeah.
They're already losing their minds. They're saying that Lucia, the female protagonist, is fat. She's not fat. She's got a better body than I have.
I mean, people who watched The Boys for the last like 4 seasons, they've only realized in season 4 that this is a parody, and it is making a laughing stock of the right wingers only at season 4. So I'm pretty sure they're gonna figure that out with GTA only at
Well,
number 6.
It's fine. We have formally established that conservatives are fucking slow. Then,
Yeah,
so
there's all the people who go, wait a minute, Homelander's supposed to be the bad guy?
These are the same people though who look at Warhammer 40k, see like the fucking shitstorm that is the Imperium of Man and go, yeah, I would really like my society ordered that way. And it's like, it's supposed to be a satire.
Like, motherfucker, Google corpse starch. You dumb fuck.
there's plenty of and what unlikes you is they get so annoyed and angry when they realize that. Yeah, there's so many things there's so many things that there are so many things that also satire the left that I look at and think, oh, that's actually accurate and laugh at. So it's like, so the left is the party that we can laugh at ourselves. The right of the party that's like, don't you fucking laugh at us, you know?
How dare you say that about my god emperor?
I still can't get over the people who were like, the X-Men are woke now, and I'm like,
They
now.
always now. They
Now?
always were, bitch.
I just
Star Trek is woke now. All
I-
it was
Now?
woke since the 60s.
I remember that fucking TikTok about Gambit just makes me lose my shit laughing every time. It's like, he was created so you want to kiss a man. Like,
Fuck me.
this
That's
is
so.
not sexual lighting. This is not a man that is straight.
No.
Yeah, or like it always makes me laugh when they say like, "Oh, like God of War is a male fantasy." It's because bitch, the guy shows the vulnerability about a male protagonist being vulnerable and trying to be a good father and
Yeah.
not suffer from toxic masculinity. No, it's not fucking conservative. It's fucking
Actually, no, I'd like to say that is a male power fantasy to be able
Yeah.
to be able to be not only strong but vulnerable with your emotions
absolutely
and connected with your children. That
great
is the
game.
Also,
fantasy.
I wanted to say that Kratos in the last 2 games has a dad bod, and I love it.
Love it. Yep.
So good.
So next thing, the best adaptation, we had the nominees as being Arcane, Fallout, Knuckles, for obvious reasons, Like a Dragon, Yakuza, and Tomb Raider: The Legend of Lara Croft. Winner was Fallout. I would have liked Tomb Raider to win because I actually quite liked Tomb Raider, but Fallout show was also very good, so I'm not complaining.
Yeah, I had a blast with the
I'm
Fallout
surprised
series.
that Arcane didn't take it actually, because
Yeah,
that's
Arcane.
interesting animation style.
Arcane is incredibly well made. It's
Yeah.
the art style is stunning. The acting, from what I understand, I haven't actually watched it yet. Is
I felt also Arcane won last year, didn't it?
Oh, it might have done.
But I
yeah,
think
there's a little bit for like season 2.
yeah, season 2 most likely for Arcane. Then we have best multiplayer, which I bounce right off. But Call of Duty Black Ops 6 because of course, Helldivers 2, Super Mario Party Jamboree, Tekken 8, and Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2. The winner was Helldivers 2.
Understandable.
Yeah,
It's just
understandable.
understandable. It's made big waves this year.
Oh yeah.
I'll
And
have
that
my
was-
opinions on
and-
that
and that is sort of-
later in the show.
And that's a sort of right winger, are we the baddies situation.
Yeah,
with
yeah, I love
Helldivers
that.
2.
Where everybody's just go, "What do you mean it's woke now?"
Best Best sports racing. Just gonna move right along. Best sim strategy. Age Mythology Retold. Frostpunk 2. I'm gonna butcher this. Kunitsu Gami Path of the Goddess. Mana
Yeah, you got it,
Lords.
yeah, Tsuritsugami. Yeah.
They're
Ah,
pretty good now. Yeah.
thank you. Mana Lords and Unicorn Overlord. The winner, Frostpunk 2.
I mean, obviously.
Is there-
Glad that Mythology didn't win that. Best.
Yeah.
I like the
That
fact
was,
that,
that was the second one up, but I can't see Frostpunk failing that one.
I like the
Sorry,
fact
Bert?
that 2 indie Central European games were nominated in that category.
Yeah, I'm a little bit iffy on Age of Mythology Retold. There might have been
Yeah.
AI art used in the thing, but we're not sure. That's why I'm a little bit.
Best family game. We have nominees: Astrobot, Princess Peach Showtime, Super Mario Party Jamboree. That's 2 Mario titles in one. Mario franchises in one voting. The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom and The Plucky Squire. The winner was Astrobot.
Yes.
Some good nominees, though. Some very
Yeah.
fucking good nominees.
Yeah,
Oh, all great
anyone
boppers.
could've gone.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't say the best game for bringing people together in your family is Super Mario Party Jamboree, but
No, not the Super Mario parties.
yeah.
Yeah, that looks
So
more
my-
like breaking
the-
your family into component pieces.
The Mario Party franchise is a franchise. It's the digital equivalent of Monopoly. It's what
Yes.
you play if you want to have an argument.
Yep.
Best fighting game. We have Dragon Ball Sparkling Zero, Grand Blue Fantasy,
Get that.
Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising, Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics, Multiverses, and Tekken 8. The winner was, of course, Tekken 8.
Fair enough.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's
That makes
Tekken.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one I want out of all of those is Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, but
It was
while it's still
certainly made
£55 for the base
this.
edition, I ain't picking that up yet.
Best RPG. We have Dragon's Dogma 2, Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, and Metaphor ReFantasio. The winner was Metaphor ReFantasio.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
been making
kind of
waves.
glad because we might get onto this later, but the 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 Elden Ring, that's a DLC.
Mm.
People have been, they've been saying, I'm not quite sure we should allow downloadable content to be nominated, and
That is a very interesting thing
Yeah.
because Burr, have you played the DLC at all?
No, I've not. I have not touched Elden Ring ever since because I'm still kind of traumatized after all the time that I've spent on playing this game.
That's fair because, in my opinion, if it's a large chunk of content that is so, like almost a substantial new game,
Yeah, if it's
I don't see
if
why you
it's like
can't.
a proper expansion, then yeah.
Yeah, we should call them expansions like they used to be called instead of
Yeah.
downloadable content. But that's another. That's
Yeah.
old woman shadow yells at clouds.
Which is why I'm happy that the Witcher 3 expansions, Blood and Wine and Hearts of Stone, were called expansions,
Thank
which
God.
is what they were.
And from what I understand, Shadow of the Erd Tree takes about 50 hours to complete on its own.
Yeah,
That's a game.
That's a
pretty much an
Yeah,
expansion
but-
then.
that pretty much is a game
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah.
But
So
hold on, was it Shadow of the Earth 3 or was it the other one that was nominated?
No, Shadow of the Erd Tree.
I know the other one was just announced. It was Shadow. Yeah, in that case, yeah, I did hear that is a fucking huge expansion. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll dog on Elden Ring for many things, but I don't think that they would put a DLC out that wasn't like a considerable block of game, you know?
Yeah.
no, with everything that's wrong with From Software, they don't do that.
Yeah, like so if they were recommending the Wildcard expansion for Star Wars Outlaws as its own thing for like Game of the Year, definitely not.
Yeah,
That's not a game's worth of content.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would be exactly the same. I'd be like, no.
Yeah. Best Action Adventure nominees: Astrobot, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, Silent 2, Star Wars Outlaws, The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. The winner, Astrobot.
I gotta say, all really good nominees there.
Good nominees. There was some griping about Star Wars Outlaws being in there.
It's an action adventure. Come on.
Oh, I think the problem is people are saying, "Oh, but it was buggy," which I'm not going to shy away. It was, but I still rather enjoyed the game. So,
Well, if it's there, most people seem to enjoy it then. So,
or
I
at
mean,
least,
Survivor managed to get on. Like Survivor turned up on many of the lists
yeah.
when it was around. Unfortunately for Survivor, it was going up against heavy competition that year.
Yeah.
Best Action Game nominees: Black Myth Wukong, Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Helldivers 2, Stellar Blade, Warhammer 40,000, Space Marine 2. The winner was Black Myth Wukong.
I will say, Space Marine was fucking robbed. This is the one category where I say that
Yeah.
Space Marine was fucking robbed.
Yeah.
I'm amazed you got there first because I was going to say that, and I'm the 40k guy. The Space Marine 2 campaign, as a 40k fan, was perfect. 10 out of 10. Everything I wanted, especially after they fixed one subtle problem with the ending. They fixed that. It's brilliant.
I've not played Wukong. I do want to put it out there that Wukong is a very well-made game.
Oh, don't doubt it.
My problems with it are purely about the people who've put it on a pedestal, not about the game itself. But we will get, and the developers will get there. Best VR/AR. We have Arizona Sunshine Remake, Asgard's Wrath 2, Batman Arkham Shadow, Metal Hellsinger VR, and Metro Awakening. The winner was Batman Arkham Shadow.
I have heard so many good things about that game, kind of thing. I want to watch you play it, El.
It came with my headset.
Yes.
Wow.
I have it.
Wow. Yes.
I want to get it for the headset, and also I want to make sure that I've got my brand new PC so I can stream it if I can. So
Yeah,
I'm very curious about
I do want to see you play it as well.
Best mobile game: AFK Journey, Balatro, Pokemon Trading Card Pocket, Wuthering Waves, and Zenless Zone Zero. No one needs to know what this is. We all know what the winner is. It's Balatro.
Yeah.
Balatro.
I mean, ZCZ had a massive play throughout the VTuber community and the online anime community, but no, Balatro is taking the world by storm.
Best debut indie game: We have Animal Well, Balatro, Manor Lords, Pacific Drive, and the Plucky Squire. The winner, Balatro.
Yeah, I will say all of them very good games.
Yep.
Like a part of me is sad that Pacific Drive didn't get it, but all of them like
All of them really. Those are some like Animal Well, great Metrovania, Balatro,
Yeah.
great card game. Not sure Manor Lords, so I can't comment on it, but I've heard it's good. Pacific Drive, great kind of.
Manor Lord is great city building game.
Ah,
Who
okay.
doesn't want to build a medieval city and then spawn as the Lord
Yeah.
and wander around it?
That,
You walk in all of your finery going, yes, peasants! Welcome me! Yes!
not
Yes.
me. For Manor
I
Lords,
have come
do it,
here.
honestly.
I have come here to execute my right of the first night. Come at
Although
me.
there's another game that is piquing my interest to watch the YouTube video about.
but yeah, we've also got Pacific Drive, which of course is a great driving sci-fi game. I really like that,
Yeah.
and the Plucky Squire, which is a fun little game. Which I've not played it, but it's on my
Yeah.
list, and I'm looking forward to playing it.
I've been watching Lewis play it, and it's great, and it has really fun and interesting, surprising mechanics. Like
And-
very, very interesting, very creative.
Yeah, and the head artist, James Turner, used to work for Pokemon. He
Oh.
designed the Center Scorch Pokemon.
Oh,
Oh,
He
Nice.
That makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, he was the
Yeah.
first British. I think he was the first British person to design Pokemon for the games. He started in Unova with Unova Pokemon and worked all the way up to Galar, and then he left.
Mm.
And
Also, Lemming, don't think we didn't notice your pun. It was good.
so that was the best debut indie game. So that was the best like indie game, which is also from a new company. Now we get
Yeah.
the best independent game.
If I can add one issue that I have with that previous category, best
Yeah.
indie game,
Yep.
it was just mentioned in passing, and I'm upset that they did not have people come up on stage and everything. They just
True.
mentioned it, just like the best esport team and the best esport game.
I can understand that.
It was sad.
But also consider that these teams might not have the funds to go to the Game Awards, kind of thing.
I mean, yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
Best independent game. So this is the best independent game overall. Animal Well, Balatro, Lorelei and the Laser Eyes, Never, and UFO 50. The winner, Balatro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely taking it.
Although once again, all titles are brilliant.
Yes. Best community support. Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 14,
Very funny.
Fortnite, Helldivers 2, and No Man's Sky. The winner, Baldur's Gate 3.
So
Yeah,
many
I don't
people
see.
got so mad about this. They got so angry about this, and it's like, guys, have you seen what the dev team have been doing? Like, we're getting new fucking like the next patch, which they released a patch like several months back, and they were like, okay, this is our last one, and they were going on to other things, and then Larian was like, wait a minute, we got another one, before we go,
Just one more
actually,
thing.
we actually have just one more thing. We have a patch, and we're adding new class specs into it, like for all the classes, and I'm like, Larian, put the game down.
But
No, I wasn't saying anything.
oh, I thought you okay.
All I can say is like Helldivers 2 should not even be on that list with how badly they fucked over their
Ooh,
community.
yeah, the Sony thing. Yeesh.
Best ongoing game, Destiny 2, Diablo. Really? There's 4 Diablos? Sorry.
Yeah.
Just had a moment there. Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, and Helldivers 2. The winner was Helldivers 2.
Understandable.
That I can understand because they are like the debacle aside, they are putting great strides into like it has an ongoing story
Yes.
that you can keep up with.
DM.
Yeah, with a DM, they've added a third faction to the game. Like just there you go, third faction. Here they are. They're doing stuff now. There's a lot. There's stuff to keep up with, and it's continuing. They've added vehicles, all sorts of stuff constantly. It's brilliant. Just shame about Sony.
The the Chud's least favorite category, games impact. So we had Closer the Distance, Indica, Never, Life is Strange Double Exposure, and Senua's Saga Hellblade 2. The winner was Never. I played it, so I can't comment, but I'm going to give it a shot.
I think it's very similar to Gree.
Yeah, it is from the same devs as Gree.
Next, again, another favorite one of theirs, innovation in accessibility. Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Diablo 4, Dragon Age The Veilguard, Prince of Persia The Lost Crown, and Star Wars Outlaws. The winner, Prince of Persia The Lost Crown.
I'm glad that Prince of Persia actually got like an award.
Yeah.
I mean,
Even
it's
for accessibility, and I'm very glad that accessibility has like an award section.
if anything, it is probably the best one out of there because, but have you played The Lost Crown or not?
No, not yet. I do have that in my on my Steam in my Steam library. I will need to try that and see what kind of accessibility options
They
there
have,
are that they could
they have-
use and
as far as I recall,
apply.
they have things that allow you to skip entire platform and sections if you're struggling with it, and with no penalties. Just like, oops. We lose a lemming. We've still got a lemming, I think. Just with no camera.
He's in the call still. He keeps popping in and out. Bless him.
He's in the building.
He's in the building. He will be back again. No worries.
I will acknowledge best performance because I think it's important to acknowledge performances. Best performance nominees: Brianna White for Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, Hannah Tell from Life is Strange Double Exposure, Humbly Gonzalez from Star Wars Outlaws, Luke Roberts from Silent Hill 2, and Melinda Jurgens from Senua's Saga Hellblade 2. The winner was Melinda Jurgens for Senua's Saga Hellblade 2, which absolutely she should win it.
Yeah, just one correction. I think Harrison Ford did the same mistake. It's Melina Jurgens.
Melina, my apologies then.
But you're in the good company because Harrison Ford did the exact same mistake.
It's still a mistake, and so that should be corrected. Best audio design nominations were Astrobot, Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Black Ops 6, Final Fantasy Rebirth.
Everybody else does.
Yeah, Blops. Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, Senua's Saga Hellblade 2, and Silent Hill 2. The winner was Senua's Saga Hellblade 2.
I've not played it, but I've played Senua's Sacrifice Hellblade 1, and it had amazing sound design. So I'm pretty sure they went even better in number 2.
Best score and music: Astrobot, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, Metaphor Refantasio, Silent Hill 2, and Stellar Blade. Winner: Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth.
No comment.
Yeah, no comment. Best art direction: Astrobot, Black Myth Wukong, Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree, Metaphor Refantasio, and Never. Winner was Metaphor Refantasio.
Again, no
I've
comment.
started playing that game, and I absolutely agree with that decision.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Best narrative: Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, Metaphor Refantasio, Senua's Saga Hellblade 2, and Silent Hill 2. The winner: Metaphor Refantasio.
Again, like no comment. I have no idea what the fuck's going on.
I mean, that kind of made me want to play this game, and now I see I'm gonna be busy for the entire 2025.
It's one of those games.
But the game starts being really fun, even despite having a very stupid name.
Best game direction. Nominees were Astrobot, Balatro, Black Myth Wukong, Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. Winner: Astrobot.
You're gonna notice a theme here, chat.
Yeah. And the final one, the game of the year, as voted by the Game Awards.
Before we go to that, I wanted to say they are always forgetting about one award that was given this year. When Jeff Keighley was talking about what is happening in the industry, about all those layoffs. There was one award created specifically. There was just one. I don't remember what it was called, like Change for Community or something. And it was given to a person that's always wanted to work in game dev, but in the end decided to be doing what he knows better how to do, and he was helping connect all those deposed, all those laid off
No,
game developers with new lines of work, new possibilities.
you are absolutely
And
correct.
I
I
really
am.
love that.
I am going to make sure that I highlight that because that's a very important nominee and area. So I'm not going to. It's not on the website, so I'm going to make absolutely certain I get that. Game Changer, Amir Satvat Award.
Yes.
For anyone who does not know, Amir himself is responsible for setting up basically ways of getting people who found themselves laid off in the games industry, getting them in contact with people, getting them back working in the industry. I will say he has come under criticism of some people because apparently he works at Tencent, which the response is, hey, we all have a day job and they might not see for the best kind of people. Doesn't mean, I mean, people say, well, but he's part of the company that was done that. It's like, doesn't mean he made the choices that they to do that. You know,
he's not the one personally firing people, and he still needs to put food on the table.
Yeah.
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 You know,
At least he's doing something.
yeah, I mean, who out of all of us say that we love the company that we work for and we think that they, you know, that they should be? I mean, Shadow, I think yours is actually yours is actually an exception, Shadow, because yours actually does have.
I will say I will say the NHS as a broader organisation is a wonderful thing. It should stay alive. However, that doesn't mean that the hospital I work for
Oop.
is not excluded from criticism, kind of thing.
Exactly.
Like, and I will say that some of the decisions management make is just.
Yeah, it is what
Basically,
it
the
is.
main problems with the NHS that have been there for the past 30 years is entirely down to management and the people leading it.
Yes, and the government.
That is all.
So yeah, the final
Yeah,
award.
the people funding it.
Yes. The final award, Game of the Year, as voted by the Game Awards. Astrobot, Balatro, Black Myth Wukong, Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Winner was Astrobot.
And I think well fucking deserved as well. I've seen like It Takes Two. I saw nothing but praise for that game.
Yeah.
Yes.
For the meme, I could say Balatro was robbed, but Astrobot did everything right.
Absolutely not. And I will say that in a second. I will say there was also the Player's Choice Voice Award where basically the players get to vote on the general wider community. Because don't forget, these are based on a panel of journalists all coming to a consensus. The Player's Voice is a full community-driven, like, you put your vote in. And the winner for that was Black Myth Wukong. Which I will get on to that. But let's talk about Astrobot. Astrobot didn't get robbed. Astrobot is a celebration of gaming. Yes, I will say it does swing heavily towards the PlayStation brand because it is going to. But you also have it highlighting games beyond the PlayStation brand that they don't own across the wide gaming sphere. There's pretty much name a game, it is represented in some fashion in Astrobot. It is a big celebration of gaming.
Glory for me, Ace Combat is referenced in that game.
I think from what I've seen, it's a very honest game. It's very pure in its emotions and its love kind of thing. Like,
yeah.
And I think that's what resonates a lot with people. It's just charming and happy, and it just loves kind of thing. Its devs love it, and it loves its, it's a love letter.
That's what gaming is about.
Oh, gaming is about all kind of things. Like you can have, we've had like The Last of Us win some years where it's like very drama. Some years you just want a celebration of what gaming is and just a bit of fun. And I think especially in 2024, that's what people wanted and that's what people got. Do we want to kind of peter off into various topics now? First of all, I'm going to talk about Black Myth Wukong. Great game. Not played myself, but I've also seen the reviews of it and seen gameplay. It looks a very well-made game, and it definitely absolutely deserves to be nominated. Anyone who says it doesn't deserve to be nominated is a liar, and I think they're completely wrong when they say that. does it deserve to win? Is the question. My response is no, and I come to that from an honest perspective I don't think it fully invokes the idea of what a game of the year should be. Also, I don't like that it's become a political pawn for the Chud community, for like a flag to put down, say this game is anti-woke, so therefore it must win to show that the anti-woke crowd are right. I don't like that. And unfortunately, that is almost what made it lose, in my opinion. I also go on.
Yeah, I don't mean to interrupt, but I think the one teeny tiny criticism a female previewer, I think it was, for the game had of the game studio and the game and like the story around the game, that one tiny criticism became a chip on its shoulder, and it has carried it for the rest of its fucking life, and they just couldn't walk away from it, and I think that's affected it forever.
Yeah, it doesn't also help that, at least according to interviews, I'm just gonna say it, the fucking game designers, the fucking lead designers, come off as a wanker, in my opinion. When he said he wrote his Game Awards acceptance speech 2 years ago, it was like that's
yeah, with like, did he not think that writing a game of the year awards acceptance speech 2 years in ahead was kind of like fucking himself in the ass, like, immediately?
not just that, but it's so fucking arrogant. You know, and some say, oh, but it's not arrogance, it's confidence. There's a fine fucking line, and I'd say it's arrogance to assume you're going to win. You know.
Yeah, that is very, very arrogant to think there's no games that reach your level of.
Yeah, I mean, confidence ends when you're starting to be upset and you're throwing your toys out of the pram when you don't win.
Yeah, like
That's
if he
no longer confidence, that is arrogance.
If he just kind of like, oh, I wrote my war speech thinking we win it years ago. We didn't win, but this is what it is. It's a good, the winner's a good game as well. Fine, not that like, oh, we wasted our time coming here. What's the point in this? You know.
I could understand if he was upset, like if he was saying, "I'm really."
Oh
like,
yeah, you could be disappointed, but
yeah, it's like this really sucks. Like, I really thought we were gonna win, kind of thing. Like, I just, I'm a little bit too choked up now. I don't really want to talk about it, kind of thing. If it said something like that, like I'd be like, yeah, that's
absolutely fine.
I think
Yeah,
a lot of people would have understood if he was like really upset about it, kind of thing. But the way he was just like, well, I don't see why we didn't win it, kind of thing, and it's like, bro,
It
come
comes
on.
off as arrogant.
yeah, it does. I think that
arrogant to the extreme.
there has been some suggestion that maybe there was politicals in this decision because it's a game from a Chinese developer. I personally don't think that should be a factor if that is considered.
No, I've looked at them. They're not affiliated with any of like the government-founded companies from within China. They're not in Beijing. They're not affiliated with Tencent or any of these other companies. They seem to just be a rather big Chinese developer who made this on their own. I've got no fault with that.
That's fair, yeah, because I was worried, because I personally was worried that there was significant pressure on the dev team by not only their head, but also by the government to make this a game worthy of the country, kind of thing.
Yeah, because
I mean that is going to be a given inside China, I'm afraid.
Yeah,
but
I mean, because my concern, there's been reports of like the dev team genuinely crying when Astro Bot was nominated, not in like a happy way, but in a oh shit kind of very
disappointment.
very upset.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that implies to me that there was significant pressure within the studio for them to make a game that won, kind of thing, and that's more concern for me about abusive work culture.
yeah.
Yeah, that might just be the work ethics and work culture in like Chinese corporations, especially this one. Not necessarily that there were like state pressures on them.
Hopefully.
Yes.
Also, for the record, I actually want to see more games about Chinese culture, like Wukong.
Yes.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
The fact is that the fact that is about Chinese culture is, I think, one of the things that very much interests me. It's just I'm not really fond of the Souls-like genre, which that very much is. So I kind of missed out on that, and it just doesn't appeal to me. That's not saying it's a bad game at all. It absolutely deserves whatever it gets. I just don't
mean-
like is, but that's become a linchpin for a certain movement,
Yeah.
shall we say?
Yes.
Right now, the games that come to my mind about like really well steeped in Chinese culture, they might neither of them be up your alley. Like which is Black Myth Wukong and Total War Three Kingdoms. I
Yeah.
don't think either is up your alley at all.
No, I mean that's the thing is, I'm sure a game will come along that appeals to me. Like I never thought I'd like Ghost of Tsushima, but I did. There you go. So, but then again, different kind of game. But yeah,
I need to buy and play that game.
yeah. Again, my problem with the game isn't about the game itself. It's more about the community that's surrounded around that's formed around it, shall we say, as a message, and that is also what I hate about what's become is that of the Game Awards. It's become a petty like my side beat your side kind of thing here.
In
Like-
fairness, gaming has always been about that since the console
Yeah.
wars. Honestly.
but it's not
But it's become nasty.
it's become worse because it's not about my game's better than your game. It's my culture is better than your culture. You know, it's culture. Yeah. And we are validated through our success that we preclude and don't include
That's
certain
partly
people.
why I'm so glad that Black Wukong
Yeah.
didn't get it, because it was a genuine fuck you to those kind of people, because they got a boost last year from Elden Ring, and now they've been smacked in the face and we're just like, no, actually, we're here about video games and not your petty fucking beef.
Yeah. I don't like capital G gamers, and I think that people who are saying that people go into the games industry hate gamers. I don't think they hate gamers. They hate capital G gamers who are obnoxious like you little shits. I think that's the
Yeah,
important
and
thing.
They hate and
And we
Go on.
don't like the fucking tourists who keep coming in here and then being like, well, such and such is woke because, like, they come in and say, oh, Dragon Age is woke. Yes, it's been woke the entire time. Get out.
Yeah.
Where have you
The-
come from?
yeah, they don't like the as you said capital G gamers. They don't like entitled little shits that think every game should demand their whims.
Wait,
What-
hold on.
Yeah.
Wait, hang on a minute. I just realised something.
Go on.
Didn't a long time ago, these gamers, like, whenever we used to complain about representation in gaming, didn't these gamers say to us, like, oh, why don't you make your own games then?
We did.
We started making our own games, and now they're upset.
Yeah,
And
and
at
I
that
said,
time, remember, at that time they called us
Curious.
entitled.
Yeah.
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 The thing is, though, they often like
They've
it's
forced-
okay to criticize a game for not having representation. Demanding representation is not what we're asking for. We're just saying it could be better if it had more representation.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
demanding representation. That's a bit different. You know, that's a different kettle of fish. That no one deserves to be represented, but they should be represented, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. But that's the thing is that these people are demanding this stuff gets removed. It's like no, that's not no. That's not how it works. You know.
That's why I love that Nexus mods, like, if you have a mod up that removes like LGBT stuff and that, they just delete your mod.
Yeah,
Right.
and people complain.
Yeah.
Oh, people complain. Oh, why? How is he different from the game that turns everyone black in The Witcher? My response is that's because that mod is to increase the diversity of a culture that is seen as not being highly representative. Plus, also, or telling Geralt black or whatever it is, because by adding Geralt being black, you're increasing the diversity. You're actively advocating for the decreasing of the diversity.
Yeah, you're basically go, I don't want to see these people anymore. Go away, kind of thing. And
Oh,
let's unpack this, shall we?
As a gay person, I don't like the fact that you just instantly dismiss my existence as being political.
Yeah, I don't really like that. Like, maybe we should unpack like why you feel like you have to remove a section of people away.
I can't identify with a gay person. Really? I've been identifying with straight characters my entire fucking life. I call it a skill issue.
Indeed.
Yeah. Anyway, back to it, because this
Imagination.
is not the episode where we rant on those hangups.
Wait, rant on fucking.
I mean,
we always do.
Every episode is worth ranting about those chats. But speaking of sick burns, I wanted to mention just one more thing regarding the Game Awards.
Go on.
which is the speech that Sven Wink, the CEO of Larian, gave before he announced the winner of Game of the Year.
Hmm.
Where he was, I don't know if you want to pull it up and read it word for word, or do I try to recap from memory?
What was his name?
Sven
Wink.
Wink. WINCK.
Thank you.
CKE, I think.
TJ speech. Roast the games through speech. Do you know what? They have the entire speech on video.
Yeah.
So let's watch it. For the audience can't hear it. But yeah.
You guys have been sitting here for over 3 hours, but I still have some time credits from last year to cash in.
Time credits last year to cash in. Lovely.
It turns out that not only will I be the one who will know as first which game
Put the
wins tonight,
subtitles on.
but I actually also know which game.
Oh yeah, good idea. Good idea.
I realize you guys have been sitting here for over 3 hours, but I still have some time credits from last year to cash in. So it turns out that not only will I be the one who will know as first which game wins tonight, but I actually also know which game is going to win next year, the year after, and the year after. Now, how do I know this? Well, an oracle told me. She said, change is coming. It's a modern oracle, so they made me sign an NDA, but I trust all of you. I know you can keep a secret. You will never leak it. The oracle told me that the Game of the Year 2025 was going to be made by a studio who found the formula to make it up here on stage. It's stupidly simple, but somehow it keeps on getting lost. Studio made their game because they wanted to make a game that they wanted to play themselves. They created it because it hadn't been created before. They didn't make it to increase market share. They didn't make it to serve as a brand. They didn't have to meet arbitrary sales targets or fear being laid off if they didn't meet those targets. And furthermore, the people in charge forbade them from cramming the game with anything whose only purpose was to increase revenue and didn't serve the game design. They didn't treat their developers like numbers on a spreadsheet. They didn't treat their players as users to exploit. And they
Raucous
didn't make
applause.
decisions they knew were short-sighted and function of a bonus or politics. They knew that if you put the game and the team first, the revenue will follow. They were driven by idealism and wanted players to have fun. And they realized that if the developers didn't have fun, nobody was going to have any fun. They understood the value of respect, that if they treated their developers and players well, those same developers and players would forgive them when things didn't go as planned. But above all, they cared about their game because they loved games. It's really that simple, said the oracle. Winning Game of the Year turned out to be a life-changing event for us. It was an amazing thing. To those who will win Game of the Year 2024, you have no idea what's waiting for you. It's an incredible honor, and you're in for a heck of a ride. Now remember, should you be told to wrap it up for tonight, you can always come back next year and chat for 3 minutes, okay? So, now, to pay tribute to the nominees for Game of the Year, once again, Lorna Balfe and the TGA Orchestra.
But yes, very much.
Thank you to AF. Also thank AF guys. Actually, yeah, the absolute shade. Absolute shade.
Yeah. So the only thing missing from the speech is he should have been in armor.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, there's that. He also didn't have a mic, so he could just drop it right at the end.
Yeah.
Oh,
So yeah, yeah. I mean, to be fair,
Yeah, he
he's
heavily roasted the industry and lightly roasted Jeff Keighley.
yeah. Apparently, Phil Spencer was not happy when Game of the Year was announced for being that. Yeah. Well.
Well, if Phil has such a fucking problem about it, maybe he should make his studios release games. I don't know.
Well, to be fair, they've been a pretty good one this year. So
it's like the dev studio that made Hi-Fi Rush and other studios that you laid off were not happy either.
yeah, no, right. Anyway, so we talked about
Sorry, if I just be quick.
Yeah, sure.
It turns out trying to make like making Arcane make a game that it's not very good at. It's a bad idea. Who would have thunk? Anyway, I don't know.
The fake. Sorry. I said I put fake up there. I need to put this, the real game awards. The real. So I'm going to touch on this. There's an arsehole online. What's his name?
Put like the game praise grifters.
Yeah.
Don't bother giving his real name. We don't want that person's given fame.
Yeah, I'm not calling this the Game Awards. This is like the fucking Razzies.
It's
Oh, no, I dreadfully apologise. The Razzies are actually decent.
yeah, the real so the real game awards is happening, which is made by I do want to say out because I don't like him. He's a dickhead and an arsehole, and he deserves those.
What's a dickhead then? Don't give him the fucking exposure.
He's a dickhead, and I want him to. And if he ever finds the video, not that he would, because he's got such a fragile fucking ego, I want him to know that he's a dickhead.
I just.
What's his name? Something kind of Craig. Something Craig. Something about that. Hang on.
I mean, I
Craig
don't think this person needs the fame
Yeah, I'm
because
kind of with Mist on this one.
Stuttering Craig. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Mist on this one actually. I understand you're pissed about it, but like,
The-
just,
yeah, it's understandable to be
Yeah,
annoyed
it's
at this
like-
whole thing, but I'd like to point out that it is an open vote that you have to pay.
I'm just gonna put this here.
This fucker's making money
Which-
off of this.
Which is exactly the grifter's way of grifting.
Just gonna.
Oh,
yeah,
they
so-
have elite sponsorship. Get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Just leaving that there. You know, your vote apparently is worth money to them, and I'm imagining.
Look,
Yeah.
guys, if you have to put real in front of your fucking award show, you've already lost. Just stop.
The only people that get away with the real whatever is the real Ghostbusters cartoon.
Yes,
Okay.
the real Ghostbusters.
That is the only one allowed.
Let's see, Rimsey, you are a better individual than I am. Well, but the key thing is we're going to move on to our awards.
If I
Yeah,
might
but
make
also
if I might make a quick suggestion, can Lemming go first in case his computer fritzes out again?
Yes.
I don't know what it is. It was fine for 8 hours, and then we start the show and it restarts 3 times. I think it might be the webcam. I'm not sure. I've plugged into a different USB. We'll see.
Yeah.
But
Sorry, before you start, Lemming, I interrupted Burr. Burr, what were you saying?
what was I saying? Yeah, fuck, I forgot. Your Honor, I forgot.
That's this show all over, everyone.
oops.
Yeah.
If you remember, feel free to interrupt us. Before Lemon goes on his speech, I'm going to give a boilerplate at the start, which is
Oh, I know.
go.
I remember. I just want to say, if you're old enough, also real player deserves to have real in its name.
I'm
I
going to
still switched over to something else as soon as I could, but you know.
I'm going to give a boilerplate for this. So these whole things are our own opinions. They are entire. If you have a different opinion, that's amazing because your opinion is perhaps the most important one on the planet, which is your own, and no one can tell you what you can and can't like. So absolutely, if you have a different opinion, just give it in the chat. Don't respect other people's opinion, but we'd love to hear what you think. Also, there's no rules for this. I've not briefed any of these people on how many games they should present. If they should present categories, we could have an entire category award show from Burr where Shadow just gives one game. We literally, there's no rules. The points are made up. It all doesn't matter. So
The only rules are the ones that we make for ourselves.
yes. Yeah, the one rule I'm going to say, I was going to offer this for myself. It doesn't need to be a game released in 2024 for it to be my game of the year, because
That's the same rule I
gaming-
use as well.
we discover games throughout our entire life, and I think it's a shame if we can't acknowledge those and say, I played this game for the first time, it's several years old, I really liked it, it's my game of the year. But I think that should be a big praise that game, that it can be so influential so many years after release.
And if we're going to be honest, all of us have got long backlogs. So
And that.
Yes.
So, yes, Lemming.
Right, my particular categories shall be 1 dishonorable mention, and then my top 2.
Oh, dishonorable mention. Oh, what's
Because
the?
everything else escapes me.
Is it Dishonored? Is the dishonorable mention Dishonored?
Actually, no, my top 3. I've just realized, top 3. But no, my dishonorable mention, because this is a great game. It's fun. It's into the actual gameplay and the interactions with the community and everything about this game is solid, except for the publisher being a douchebag.
Oh.
My dishonorable mention goes to Helldivers 2.
Oof.
I want you to be one of my games of the year.
Oh.
But with what Sony has been doing to fuck over your fan base,
Oh.
I can't let you be on this pedestal.
Oh, what a shame.
No,
It's entirely down to Sony. Sony are being dicks. They're still pushing for people to have PlayStation Network accounts. They still, to this day, have multiple regions of the world unable to play their game because they're being assholes about it. It's a fun game. I had one game of it recently just to see what it's like, and the new faction that you're fighting against is interesting and unique and a puzzle to try and fight. It's fun, but Sony are being dickheads about it. So with that game on its own little pedestal there, it's a good game, brilliant game, publisher's a douchebag. My top 3 games of 2024. Number 3. It's not even finished yet. Hades 2.
Neat.
Hades 2, even in its early access state, is a brilliant successor to Hades 1. It is the same type of game. Top-down, isometric view combat game against the denizens of not medieval, but classic ancient Greece. You're playing as the sister to the main character from Hades 1. Sometime afterwards, and Kronos, the Titan of Time, has escaped and is laying siege to Mount Olympus.
Well, shit.
Yeah. It has also captured your entire family.
Again.
You're the only one left.
Well, fuck.
Yeah. You then have to do the whole resetting, fighting time and time again business to try and defeat Kronos. All the while also trying to beat the siege of Mount Olympus. The reason, not only is it going 2 different routes, unlike the first game's single route, you're doing 2 different routes, you pick, but it also plays differently. While it's the same type of game, it plays differently. Zagreus had a very mobile style. He was getting up close. He was using multiple dashes to move around. I'm sorry, I can't remember the name. Melinoe. Melinoe in this game isn't as mobile. It's more power. It's more magic spells. Dashing occasionally when needed, but otherwise using your abilities and spells to dominate and control the area around you. It's a completely different way of doing it, but it works just as well, if not better, than the previous game. If you like Hades 1, this is a shoe-in. Brilliant. Game number 2. Satisfactory. When this game came out, this much like Ebak said earlier about trucking, when it's just like, oh, this is the sort of game that took me back to playing early Minecraft and going, oh, I could just do this one thing. Just this thing. Why is it 2 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah.
What the hell happened? I have just filled this entire mountainside with concrete blocks and built on it, but I didn't do that much, did I? Apparently I did 9 hours worth of building and didn't notice it. This is why over the course of 2 months, I put in 300 hours.
Jesus Christ, man.
In Satisfactory 1.0. I've owned this game for a while. I bought it when it was in early access. I forgot I owned this game. I realized, oh, my friends are playing this game. I'll check it out in the Steam store. Why do I already own this?
300 hours later.
300 hours later, 2 months, and I cleared the game. I'm only missing one achievement, and that achievement is stupid. The rest of it, colossal. You can set up the difficulty however you want. You can have the enemies attack you on sight. You can have them be docile. You can edit it however you want. And that, for a start, is brilliant. You can go in, have a chill game. You're just building stuff. You're doing stuff. You still get all the achievements. You can have a hardcore game where you're stressed and trying to survive while building your factories.
Why?
If you like hardcore games, that's an option. And it's fantastic. However, it's not my game of the year. My game of the year for 2024 is a game I've been playing every Wednesday with somebody wonderful called Drifting Light. Baldur's Gate 3 is my game of 2024.
Surprising. I thought it would be Space Marine, actually.
Yeah.
No,
So I thought.
I never got to finishing the co-op games of Space Marine because my co-op companions haven't shown up yet. But Space Marine 2 does get an extra mention, now that you mention it, just to be everything I want in a 40k game. It's not top 3, it's number 4 probably, but it's certainly number 1 when it comes to hiss. When it comes to me, and I've read dozens of 40k books. Back when I played the tabletop game, I read the codexes and all the little bits of information you could get in the story from those books. And I've read countless just blogs and videos and all that on 40k. I am as 40k as they come. And Space Marine 2 was that game.
That's why I had to watch you. I had to watch you stream it, Levy, because I knew it was right up your alley. And as an extremely casual, I look at Warhammer 40k and I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool, kind of thing. I need to watch Levy play this.
I mentioned earlier that they fixed a bug in the ending of that game. In the end sequence of that game, the big battle's over. The main character's knocked unconscious. And then it says, "Rise, son of Gilliman." And the notation for the character is Marneus Calgar. And I knew immediately, that's fucking wrong. One, Marneus Calgar has been referring to you as Titus the entire time.
Whoops.
That, and Marneus Calgar is also a son of Gilliman. Why would he say that? No. Soon after the game release, they changed that final dialogue. It still says "Rise, son of Gilliman," but it now says "unknown voice."
Ah.
Your character at the end of that game was spoken to by the Emperor himself.
Yo!
Nice.
Fuck yes! Love it. Absolutely great. I just need certain members of our community to get some time together so we can finish those co-op games, because I still haven't finished the actual side plots.
That reminds me.
Thank you.
I need to collar 2 gentlemen here for Escape Simulator.
Yes.
Yeah.
So-
Especially now that you've been given new DLCs.
Yes.
So, just to recap, honorable mention, Space Marine 2. Dishonorable mention
Yep.
is
Helldivers 2.
those 2. Third was what was it? Oh god.
Hades 2.
Yeah, Hades. It was
Hades 2.
2.
Hades 2. Then
Satisfactory, and then Baldur's Gate 3. Yep.
Yeah, Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah, which
Fantastic.
I interrupted you for.
Yeah.
But I
I mean,
was
thank
like,
you for
oh,
reminding.
what I could
I mean,
do,
partly,
let-
you can tell I'm winging this because thank you for reminding me about probably one of my favorite games of the year.
I will say, I will never not be entertained whenever I'm like, oh, I know what I could do. I could get Levig on a tangent, just throw for
It's like a pinch of like what will make this go? Just a pinch of 40k into the conversation. I'll be like, right,
it's like,
you've
hey,
given
Levig.
me carte blanche to say things.
I'm just like, hey, Levig, fetch.
Yeah, Shadow's like, oh look, a space marine.
And it's like, yes, there we go.
I mean, look at me, UK Games Expo, when I was like, it's a Raven gun! Holy shit!
Yes. Oh my god, that was so
Yeah.
fun. Maybe one does you have Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader, right, Lemming?
Yes, I have it. It's on GOG, but I do own it.
It's multiplayer, isn't it?
Yes, it is up.
Maybe in the future you and I can do something. In the far future. Oh my god, that is the one
Worst timing.
timing.
Who wants to take up next? Shadow, since probably me and Bert have a very similar list.
Oh, okay. Jesus,
Yeah.
fine. All right then. Now I've killed. Now I Warhammered.
You need to ask your questions. I'm on my phone.
Oh,
Hello. I was saying, and maybe in the far future, you and I could do a multiplayer Rogue Trader when I finally get the game.
That is a definitive yes.
Excellent. I haven't forgotten about Age of Empires 4 as well.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's still.
Try and fucking stop me. I'm restarting my computer.
all right. We'll see you soon.
See you
Shadow.
in a minute, chat. Okay, so I have my top 5. That's 4. My top 5. I can do math. Top 5 games of 2023. Was it 2020? Fuck. Help me.
It's 2024. It's 2024.
There
I'm
are deep breaths.
I'm still mentally in 2020. I never left lockdown. Yeah, so top 5 of 2024 and 2 honorable mentions and 1 mention. Okay. So the mention is Fortnite. I got into this game because of the Blorbo and discovered that yeah, that's kind of what's up, Al?
That's fine. I'm just sharing with the audience.
Yeah, I might have gotten a new Blorbo, and his name is Remy LeBeau. And yeah, so somebody may be aware that he was on the Fortnite store at one point, and I got him, and I've played a bit of Fortnite now. It's not too bad actually. It's not an honorable mention because I don't like Epic, and I'm in the game begrudgingly. It's like, okay, you're an alright game. I don't mind you. I will say the Lego mode's pretty cool though. I like the Lego mode. This is good. It's good. A little bit bare bones, and I have issues. There's some things where I wish you could use more Lego bricks in Lego Fortnite, but it is what it is. But yeah, Fortnite, I have played it. I got to 2 at one point. That is my crowning achievement. I'm going to the grave with that. I'm happy with that. Okay, to the honorable mentions. Baldur's Gate 3. One day you will be on this list, my dear friend, but the problem is I still haven't played you enough in order to get you here because it's a long RPG and it needs more time.
I'm not playing the trailer again. Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine. But yeah, it's a great RPG. I need to play more of it, but I keep putting it off because it's a lot. Anyway, my other honorable mention, not on the list because it's still in early access. Because personally, I don't want to put early access games on the top 5. But Nightingale, if I remember correctly, developed by Inflexion Games, I think, ex BioWare devs who basically are making an kind of an open world survival game, except it's in the Fey realms, and it has a very Victorian steampunk aesthetic, and I really like that. It's Victorian steampunk in like a weird alien Fey realms kind of thing. It's all weird and it's fantasy and steampunk and Victorian kind of stuff, and I love it. I love it. It's still in development. It's definitely got a lot of teething problems with it. But I really want to see this. I really want to see this game develop and thrive and do better. I know that Inflection had to do some layoffs this year because it's been hard for them, kind of thing. But I really hope that this game flourishes, kind of thing, and I look forward to seeing where it goes, kind of thing. It was very fun when we played an early access build of it. If
Yeah.
you have it, if you have it in your library and you haven't touched it for a while, or you're looking to maybe get a taste of it, they've redone the progression. They've redone the entire progression, so you will probably need to make a new character. But check it out. It's I like it.
We
It's
should kind
very
of get the group together and do like another like year in review kind of thing. Oh, when the
I
time
love
comes.
that.
Yeah.
love that.
I'll
Start
mention it
fresh.
to Lewis. So
Yeah, thank you.
sure.
Okay, on to the top 5. In 5th place, I've already talked a little bit about this game, but I could talk a little bit more. It's old school RuneScape. Quite a surprise entry for so late in the game, but as I mentioned, I was on a nostalgia kick and wanted to go back to a game that I used to play in my childhood, kind of thing. It's not exactly the same game as I played when I was younger, but it's close enough there. It like when people look at it, they're like, "Wait, you enjoy this kind of thing?" It's a very strange MMORPG in that it's a point and click MMORPG because because if you attack an enemy, you just click on them and then you just wait, and occasionally you might eat. You might eat a little, you might drink a few potions, you might have a couple of prayers up. It's like it doesn't seem like a very in-depth it doesn't seem like a very in-depth like combat system, but then you start getting into positioning, different types of potions that you can have the effects on, what prayers, like protection from melee magic or missile kind of thing, like what kind of attacks have you got, special weapons attacks and stuff like that. And the game is very combat focused, but it's also skill based. You have a whole load of skills that you raise by by literally grinding. You do a thing many times, and you watch number go up, kind of thing. And a lot of people are probably looking at me right now and going, how? Well, one, I have the I like watch number go up disease, and also I'm coming back to it now as an adult. I When I was young, I used to like hardcore this. I have notes of like the best way to organize my inventory to get the most out of like skilling for prayer or something like that. I had calculations like running down. But as an adult, I treat RuneScape. I treated because I've stopped playing it for the moment. I treated it more as a casual experience, just something you can have all in the background. You don't really need to think that hard when you're skilling. Sometimes you can just like, sometimes it's just a peaceful experience of just, I'm fishing shrimp. I'm fishing shrimp outside Lumbridge. That's all it has to be sometimes, and I think I quite like that in a way, because a lot of MMOs want you to engage, kind of thing, and it's understandable. Yes, it can be. It can be a bit like that as well. But yeah, it's a surprisingly deep game for what it is, kind of thing. Because when I say point and click MMO to most people, they're like, "Huh, what?" But there's depth to it. I think I've got a lot of nostalgia goggles on, I will admit. It's a free to play MMO, so if you want to try, that's fine. You will feel the shackles of being free to play sooner rather than later. But I will give Jagex credit on this regard. It's not old school RuneScape is not bullying in its thing. It will say, "Hey, this is for members," and you will hit the shackles quite quickly. You'll be like, "Oh, for fuck's sake," because your map's quite small as a free to player. But it's not you're not like it's not constantly barging into your house saying you should be a member. Like you should pay for like microtransactions. Do you want cosmetics? Blah.
Yeah, not like World of Warcraft.
Yeah, not like World of Warcraft or its other bigger cousin, RuneScape 3. We don't talk about RuneScape 3. As far as we're concerned, RuneScape 3 doesn't exist. There's only one RuneScape, and that's old school RuneScape.
Yeah, so one anecdote I can say on that subject is when it comes to old school RuneScape, you mentioned it's more of a casual, like you click on a thing and wait until it's done game. Yeah, that was especially proven to the point when one of the Twitch streamers I moderate for, Deadly Slob, was playing his game, and in the corner of his screen, main game screen, his camera one side, and then the other corner was RuneScape that he would occasionally alt tab to and just click something and go back to his game. He was collecting crabs for 8 hours a day while streaming.
Yeah, that is RuneScape kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's just like it's just a gentle experience.
It's like
I think
the
now,
numbers go up. Good numbers go up disease, like you said.
yeah, like, you just want to watch the numbers go up sometimes. Like I'm not gonna say that RuneScape cannot be a hardcore game because there are some really hardcore players out there, but you know, for me, it's a more casual experience, and I think I like
Yeah.
that about RuneScape kind of thing. We don't talk about its bigger brother. Um, in fourth place, Lego Marvel Superheroes. I didn't expect this to be a game of the year, but after Evac very kindly gifted this to me off my wish list, I've been playing it and I've been having a good time with it. Actually,
A
It's
reminder that the
cool.
game of the year does not need to be a game released this year for our choices. This is an 11-year-old game. You get it pretty cheaply. Highly recommended myself. Go for it.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I'm mostly here for my boy. I'm mostly here for Gambit. Let's be honest. But it's a good time. I'm not gonna say it's like amazing or anything like that. It's certainly got teething issues, especially towards the end of the game. Especially those fucking Brotherhood mutants. I'm going to kill you physically in a video game. And it does. And like, I don't know whoever hurt the person who made the flying controls for the Lego games. I just want to talk. I just want to talk to you. What did you do? But yeah, it's an alright game. It's a good game. I've been mostly playing it if I need something to fill the time, kind of thing, and I just need something to absorb me for a little while. And it's fun being Gambit, and you hit a thing, and they turn pink, and then they explode. Yay! In third place, we have Jurassic World Evolution 2. I will say, as games go, this is what I call a perfect video game sequel. It's bigger than the previous one, and it improves on I think almost everything. It improves on almost everything, and it's got more of a focus on what it's doing, kind of thing. Because the first game was very much, you could definitely tell that Frontier was regimented into a box by Universal. It's like it must look like this. Everything must look like this. But in Evolution 2, you've got a lot more customization. You've got more dinosaurs to look at, and Frontier knows that the main draw for the game is the dinosaurs, kind of thing. And in this game, they've really focused on more about the dinosaur care, making their movements more realistic, kind of thing. You can see them sleeping, you can see them eating. They've got more behaviors that you would expect from dinosaurs, you know, herding behaviors and stuff like that. And as you can see, they've also introduced flying and swimming prehistoric animals, which I also really appreciate because that was missing in the previous games. It's I would like it's an improvement, I think, on the previous game. There's more biomes. There's just more. And I think that's what a perfect sequel should be. It's more of the same, but the same is improved. Like they've managed to figure out what the core formula is and really sort of tunnel down onto that. I will say the base game campaign is extremely lackluster. I don't know about the DLC that adds extra campaign missions in. What I do know is they do add extra mechanics into the game, and that sort of fleshes the game out a bit more. So it might be a good idea, like when you pick the game up, to maybe like avoid the like here's more different dinosaurs kind of thing, and focus more onto like the bigger campaigns like the Biosyn Biosyn DLC and stuff like that. I really like it. Fake Chris Pratt is here again, who I've only recently discovered is AJ Locosio, who voices Gambit in X-Men '97, and now I have to apologize for him for being very angry about his Chris Pratt impression. In fairness, he does a much better job in this one. In the first one, he was terrible. In this one, he's much better. I think he's found the voice for it. So I have to apologize to AJ for that. I called you many mean words first game. Anyway, at spot number 2, it's Karmazoo. I love this game. It's cute animals. You it's a cute animal puzzle platformer where you gotta get to the end of the level while collecting as many hearts as possible, which is hearts are karma in this one. It's very cute, and one thing I really like about it is it's a cooperative game. Like you are kind of pushed to compete with some challenges in the game as specific animals, but 99% of the game is you being different animals and using your animal's ability to help move other people along. For example, if you're a little flame sprite, you can set braziers on fire, and the braziers will produce a halo effect. That means if people stand in them, they will not disappear into the ether. Because the main conceit of this game is you've got to stay together. You've got to stay together. At least 2 people need to be together, because if you are on your own, you will fade out and quote unquote die. You'll turn into a spirit, not be of any use. So you gotta stick together, everybody.
Yeah.
But as you can see, you could be all kinds of animals. You could be a whale. You could be a llama. You can even be objects like a plant pot or a teapot or a watering can and stuff like that. You could even be a fir tree if you so desire. It's like, and there's lots of little other characters to discover in the walls. Literally in the walls.
Can I do the voice now?
Yes.
Karma Zoo.
Yes, it's also very simple.
Loop.
You might have trouble getting a multiplayer game together now. The player base has kind of decreased, but if you can, it doesn't need a full party. It doesn't need a full party of 10. You can get through with like 6 people or so, but it's a good time. If you can find a group, it's a good time. Right, so that leads me to my game of the year. Well, my game of the year is going to be quite a surprise to most people, and most people might not know about it. It's a game called Slipstream. Well, what's Slipstream, you might ask me? Well, Slipstream is a racing game, very much based in sort of like vaporwave sort of thing. It's focused mainly on drifting, kind of thing, where you race and you drift, and the drift. But one thing I do, and it has a rewind mechanic if you fuck up, kind of thing. But you can only rewind like 5 minutes, well, 5 seconds, kind of thing. I really like this game. The one thing it's got a beautiful aesthetic. The controls are really good. And one thing I love about this game more than anything else, and the reason why it's on my top one is it's based around drifting. But if you can't get the manual drifting controls down, it gives you an automatic drifting, and it doesn't take anything away from you for using the automatic mode. You're slightly slower because of the way it works, but the game's like, oh, you want to use the automatic drifting mechanic? Sure, go ahead. You can get all the achievements, you can get all of the unlocks. Doesn't matter. It's just perfectly fine about it. And because I was thinking about it, and it's my game of the year because I played it like flat out, and I would find myself craving it, kind of like I really want to go back to this kind of thing. And I've like 100%ed this game because I love it to death, kind of thing. I've got all the achievements. It's a complete on Steam. I'm not gonna come out and say I'm the best. I'm a really good player of Slipstream. Nah, I'm just here casually, kind of thing. but I really love the game. It's it's just nice, man. It's just a nice indie game, and I stumbled upon it completely by accident on Twitter by by the developer mentioning like, oh yeah, I based this on here are my inspirations, and they mentioned Initial D kind of thing. I was like, oh, I like that anime, and I was like, huh, this looks really cool. And then I picked it up and I really enjoyed it, and the here it is. It's my game of the year. It's a little indie darling for me.
All right, so that's for Shadow Game of the Year Slipstream, followed by Karma Zoo. Then, of course, we have Jurassic World Evolution 2
Yeah.
and the Lego Marvel Superheroes.
Yes.
Old School RuneScape in 5th place. And honorable mentions are Nightingale and Fortnite, because you got.
Well, Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh, Baldur's Gate 3, yes.
Yeah.
Wow, quite a selection there. And again, as rule state, doesn't need to be in the release this year. So nice, thank you for that, Shadow. And that's a nice little collection. I might give Slipstream a look myself, actually. I've seen you play
It's
it.
very fun. I also played it.
Yeah, I would thoroughly recommend Slipstream. It's
I've
a nice
watched
vibe.
Shadow play it quite a lot, and this is a game that's definitely not for me. But I love the fact that Shadow enjoys it so much.
Speaking of Bird, do you want to take us through your game? Sorry, go on, Shadow.
I was just going to say, I will say, you will end up hating pedestrian cars. You will hate them with every fiber of your being. When they get out of the fuck, they overtake you, and then they go slowly in front of you, like, get out of the fucking way!
All right, but your game of the years, or whatever.
Sure. Yeah. So I'll try to quickly rush through my 5 honorable mentions, and then go to the games of the year, 5 games of the year that I have on my list.
Okay, given there's so many,
think
I'm not
you'll-
going to show trailers of the honorable mentions.
Yeah, you're gonna pretty quickly see a pattern. Let me just pull up my external memory.
God, I need that these days.
So
I mean, I wrote mine down, so.
yeah. So for my honorable mentions, so number 5 honorable mention, Tomb Raider 1 to 3 remastered. It was a blast. It was a great. This is just like Soul Reaver 1 and 2. This is how a remaster should be done. There's so many great things. The controls are improved. The graphical fidelity, the graphical effects and textures and models, they are all improved. I was especially happy with the fact that the tank controls are there, but you can also have more modern controls. Because I'm very bad at the tank controls, and even despite the modern kind of controls, this game is still balls to the wall hard occasionally, and I've really had a hard time with it. But I finally was able to play the first 3 Tomb Raider games, and it was a blast. I really loved the whole process, the whole game. So it was really nice. My second honorable mention is a very short, like 3-hour game by the name of Duck Detective: The Secret Salami,
I gotta play
which
that.
is a very small, very funny game that is kind of a joke on a sort of whodunit detective game. It has brilliant ideas, brilliant dialogues. It knows that it's ridiculous. It knows that its premise is funny, and it knows it's very small and cute game, but it's absolutely worth playing. And it's
coming out.
it's another really great blast.
And it's got a sequel coming out.
Yeah, and it's got a sequel coming out soon. Then my next honorable mention is On Guard,
Oh,
which is another small game, and it's very nice aesthetically. It has this very colorful, very bright styling. It is a very fun game. Doesn't take itself seriously either. It's a take on the sort of swashbuckling hero sort of flavor, kind of like what what would Zorro game be if the main protagonist was a lady?
Yeah,
And it's so much fun.
I like that you can like poke the rapier into the enemy rears, and they're like, oh, like,
Yeah,
it's-
yeah.
I genuinely
Yeah.
thought you were going to say, what would Zorro do for a second?
I mean, he would do that, especially to Sergeant Garcia.
he does it in the
But-
fucking film.
Yeah.
You
For,
said
for a moment,
And, yeah.
for a
the-
moment,
the
I had
thing
to
is-
ask which Zorro.
I mean, every Zorro, every one of them. Also, the thing that I especially loved about this game is how many things you can do, how much freedom of what to do you have, how many options you have. You can throw basically everything at the guards. You can push tables at them. You can push them off cliffs. You can throw buckets at their heads. You can throw fish at them. You can smash them against the wall, against the weapon rack that will crush them. They're just everyone is very silly in this game, and everything is over the top, and it's wonderful and brilliant. That game definitely deserves an honorable mention.
I was going to say, at some point, I was just like, wait, when did we switch to talking about
No,
Indiana Jones?
we'll get there.
Yeah, another game on my honorable mention is Nine Souls. It's a very interesting setting Taiwanese game set in the sort of Teopunk futuristic universe. It's a 2D Souls-like. So it's pretty difficult, but it has amazing music. It has great it's really fluid, it's really interesting in terms of its story, in terms of its plot.
You play as a
But
little
like I
kitty,
said,
don't you?
You play as a sort of little animal,
Mm.
little cat bunny thing, and it's it in some moments it's pretty scary. It has a lot of horror vibes to it, to some aesthetics, to some bosses, to some elements of what's happening in the world. So it can be scary at times, and also it's because it's a Souls-like. It's really difficult, and I needed to have my friends' voices doing to play every time I died, so that I could so that they could keep on playing. And my final honorable mention is a game that I've not yet finished, but I want to finish it as soon as I return to my flat, because it's a wonderful mixture of a story-driven adventure game, a sort of card game, and a turn-based tactics game by the name of The Thaumaturge. It's a game that's happening in the beginning of the century Warsaw, which back then was a city in the Russian Empire. And it tells a story about a guy that is a professional sort of demon hunter. He catches demons. They're called saluters in this game. He joins them into himself, and they fight with him and for him. And there's a big story involving like the Tsar's secret police and Polish revolutionaries and Rasputin and golems and Jewish plots and all kinds of crazy things that can only happen in Central and Eastern Europe in the early 20th century. And it's absolutely worth trying because it's really interesting from the historical point of view, from the locations, because the Warsaw that is shown in that game does not exist. Not a single bit of it exists because it was razed to the ground by the Germans in World War II. So it's all like the whole city shown there does not exist anymore. So it's worth looking at that even from this perspective. But it's also, if you enjoy the sort of paranormal paranormal sort of fantasy actual things, this is absolutely a game for you, and you're gonna enjoy that.
Look, you got me when you were describing an argument between a soldier and a lamppost.
Yeah. Yeah. You can also you can defend the lamppost, or you can go to soldier or to fight the lamppost. Yeah. So now I can go to my actual games of the year. So there's gonna be 3 games from the same company from and 2 games that are of other kind. My number 5 is a game that is a remake of a very, very old game. They're both called Alone in the Dark. The Alone in the Dark from like 1992 or 93. It's an interesting like proof of concept, more like, because the actual games that were made later are this sort of 3D survival horror engine and 3D survival horror idea. It was copied by a very little known franchise called Resident Evil. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Vaguely.
Yeah, so the originally all those ideas were made in Alone in the Dark, and that series was started really great, and then it was kind of run into the ground by not having any ideas about what to do with it. And the remake is really reviving this thing, and is really showing how well this game could be. Because the whole idea is this is a Cthulhu mythos cosmic horror thing in the survival horror. It happens in a very interesting scenery because it happens in the mansion in a bayou in New Orleans. So you can tell that there's going to be all kinds of voodoo topics and local ancient beliefs, and on top of that, there's going to be cosmic horror that the Cthulhu mythos is well known for. And the roles are beautifully played. David Harbour and Jodie Comer are really great as the main characters. You can see that they know how to make proper Cthulhu games, because there's not that many actual horror jump scare horrors, but there's a lot of falling into madness. There's a lot of questioning reality, questioning your own sanity. I really enjoyed every bit of that game. And I really enjoyed the fact that it's not jump scary, but rather it's this very disturbing, scary that a proper Cthulhu horror should be. It's really great take on Alone in the Dark, and I think it was a really great remake of the game.
I genuinely forgot this came out this year.
Yeah. So did I, but then I looked at the game I played this year and I think, holy shit, that game was so good. I think it deserves to be on my games of the year.
Yeah,
There you go.
I only remember because you sent me a picture of like stale beignets and you were like, "Hey, Shadow,"
Yeah.
and I was just like, "Oh, I wonder why you would send me beignets." I saw
Yeah.
you, Ibai. I saw you look at me when he mentioned like it was in New Orleans, Louisiana. I was just like, "Don't, don't."
Okay, my number 4 is Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom.
Oh yes.
That is a brilliant, refreshing, original approach to Zelda games. Because in Echoes of Wisdom, you don't play as Link. You finally play as Zelda in a Zelda game.
Wow.
What a concept.
Should have been a legend.
Yeah. I was making that joke until everyone got tired of it. But yes. I really love the fact that you have a completely different approach to how to look through at the world, how to defeat monsters, how to solve puzzles. Because with Link, it's all offensive. He has a sword, he has a bow, he has bombs and everything. Whereas Zelda is learning how to spawn objects she finds on the way. and then she can spawn them all. So it's more like a lesson in creativity to come up with, like, what kind of things can I spawn to make this thing work, or to defend myself, or to figure out how to solve this puzzle. And it's I know that everyone goes for basically the same approach, and very quickly the
Twice
game
best.
turns. Yes, the game very quickly turns from echoes of wisdom to beds of wisdom, because everyone spawns beds as a sort of ad hoc ladders to climb to things. But it's still fun that you can do all kinds of emergent things, like climbing on the beds and then dropping bomb fish on people that explode, or every kind of inaccessible, previously inaccessible places, like cut off by walls of trees or walls of rocks. You can still traverse because you can build like ladders of water and climb over that, or jump over beds and get that, or like set up trampolines and get there. So this game really improves the creativity. It's the sort of simplified but much nicer version of what you would be were able to do with all the machinery in Tears of the Kingdom, where you can build all kinds of crazy stuff with that too. And I really love the fact that you can see things from Zelda's perspective, and how people interact with Zelda, how she interacts with the characters. And I really want to see more games from that perspective, not just about Link.
Yeah,
It was really great.
yeah, and I will also say it's got the gorgeous aesthetic where it looks all like toys.
Yes,
Mm.
it looks like the Link Awakening remake, which is like all the characters look like they're made out of the plasticine, and they look beautiful. Yeah, so my number 3 on my list is Paper Mario: A Thousand Year Door, which
Oh,
is another re remake. Would it be remaster or remake? I think something in
I think it's
between.
I think it's mostly a remaster. It's mostly a remaster. I think the only thing that's changed is dialogue and some things that they've
Yeah.
had to change because it's no longer on the GameCube. But I am so glad it's been re-released. It's one of the
Yeah, but
it,
this is so far the only Paper Mario game that I've played. I've not played any other ones, but I'm glad that I've started from a high horse, because this game has really great really great fighting mechanics, really great dialogues, really fun adventures that Mario is on, really interesting story. It's incredibly funny. It has great memorable characters that are really really cool, especially your companions that you can take on your team. They are amazing, and each and every one of them, and each conversation you have, and each sort of adventure that you meet them on is really great. They are quite varied. They are really unique, and I've absolutely loved all the mechanics that like utilize the fact that you are made out of paper cutouts, and the whole world is like made of cardboard and paper. And I really recommend this game to everyone, because it's super fun.
yeah, I think the one thing that Thousand Year Door has, it's a very good RPG, but it
Yeah,
also takes the fact that it is made of paper and incorporates it into like
yeah,
how its whole world is built. Like when you move to another area, the book like it's like a pages of the book turn kind of thing, and everything pops up kind of thing. Like many of Mario's abilities are based on paper kind of thing. He will turn sideways to fit through like narrow
yeah. To
spaces,
slip through the cracks.
yeah,
Yeah,
or turn into a paper plane or a
he will
paper.
he will roll into a paper tube to roll under things. That is, yeah.
Yeah, and like it's I just and also if you saw it in the trailer there, like instead of the boat turning around, it just flips around because it's a piece of paper,
Yeah.
and then just chugs away. It's just like the charm of this game is intense, but it's also like a rock solid RPG as well. Like you'll get to points in the game where you're like, Jesus fucking Christ, it gets difficult at times.
I need to purchase this game.
You do. It's
You
like,
do, absolutely. However,
Yeah,
first you have.
Yeah, and as you
Sorry,
could see
go
in
ahead, Shadow.
this bit here as well, like using partner abilities to tear paper aside and
Yeah.
stuff like that. It's such a charming game, but it's also a very strong game as well. It's not afraid to pull punches. It's not afraid to punch you in the face. Sometimes. And
Oh yeah.
when people talk about Paper Mario games, this is the one they usually talk about, kind of thing. So
Yeah.
it's absolutely wonderful to see this GameCube game
Yes.
finally come to Nintendo Switch.
Yeah. Also, despite being silly and cute and whimsical, it still grabbed me by the throat and really emotionally compromised me. But if I had a nickel for every Mario RPG game that compromised me emotionally in 2024 and landed on my top 5, I would have 2 nickels, which isn't much, but interesting that it happened twice in 1 year.
They
Because
have
my
a
number
habit.
2,
They have a habit doing that.
my number 2 is Mario and Luigi Brothership.
Hey!
Yeah, I thought that was coming.
It's another Super Mario RPG game, this time focusing on both brothers. It's no longer paper, it's now just fully 3D, but it's incredibly fun. I've already enjoyed Mario and Luigi games, despite them being incredibly hard. This one, on occasion, is also very hard, but it has very unique locations, very unique enemies to fight, very interesting story, having quite a lot of plot twists that were really, really nice, having absolutely hilarious dialogues, having hashtag justice for Luigi, because Luigi is almost like occasionally he overshadows Mario in this game, which is funny and it's very interesting, and I absolutely love that for Luigi. It's super, it's awesome for him. It has a lot of interesting places. It has a lot of fun. You have all the mechanics that you've had, where you have all kinds of items to heal you or items to help you fight against the enemies. They are all really, really making the fights fun, because there's a lot of fights, but they're always very interactive because you have to react to the enemies attacking you to negate at least part, if not all, of the damage, or you have to press the button in time to have extra oomph to your attacks. And they've done it much better, I think, in this game. It's still very hard, but you have all kinds of simplifying things, like the items that will make you impervious for a while. It doesn't unfortunately help you to beat the bosses, but you have also, if you die like 2 times in a row, it suggests us for the next fight you can have easy mode or very easy mode to defeat this one enemy and then continue with the previous difficulty setting. So it's trying a lot to help you with the difficulty. And that game really took me also by the throat and shook me emotionally, because it's like the title says, it tells a lot about the bonds and the brothership and the relationships between characters, and it's absolutely brilliant.
Let me tell you, there is nothing that will emotionally compromise you more than a Mario with like a Mario RPG. They do that. Like you come in
Yeah.
expecting like a happy fun time, and then the game proceeds to not only be a very like rock solid RPG, but then it will emotionally compromise you several times in a row.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. And this one does that. Before you end that game, it does that many times.
But what is your game of the
So
year?
Yeah.
so may I ask you, L, maybe for a audio cue
Oh my
for my game
god.
of the year?
Hang on, hold on. I think I know where you're going with this. Give me a second. Uh, what are you looking for the audio cue? I think I know what you're looking for. Is there a specific one you're looking for?
I think the one that you were using mostly when.
Okay, sure, I'm ready.
So the game of the year for me is Indiana Jones and the Great Circle.
Why are you not working? Why are you showing up like this?
This is DMCA protection. FBI, open up.
Is it not sounding for you guys?
I can hear it on Discord.
Oh,
Yeah, we can hear that. Yes.
Yeah.
my apologies. But there you go.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, we can hear that. But yes. So this game is everything I needed and wanted from an Indiana Jones game. It's an absolutely brilliant approach at the sort of adventure game where you have exploration, when you have archaeology involved and research and history and such. It's 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 brilliant, on par with Uncharted 4, which I think so far was the best of the sort of games. I well, it really has the Indiana Jones movie feeling. It has all the vibes that it needs. It has brilliant music. It has great. It has amazing voice acting by Troy Baker, who made Harrison Ford jealous.
He does sound really,
Hmm.
really good.
Yeah. Yeah, Indy does great quips when he walks around, when he fights. You can see he's excited and passionate about all those things he sees. He talks a lot about what the things around, about the things he digs out, the things he finds. You can see the people who were developing the game were really passionate about the franchise and were really passionate about the world in which Indiana Jones lives. The 1937 world is really amazingly and accurately presented. At least where there was something written in languages I know, I was able to look at it and read it, because everything is like very localized. And if there was an Italian fascist writing a letter, it would be in Italian. If there was documents in German, they would be written in German. If there was some inscriptions in Latin, they would actually be in Latin. It was amazing. Just like Shadow stops in a Star Wars game for half an hour to read something in Aurebesh, I was doing the same thing in Indiana Jones game.
Amazing.
And I'm gonna leave some of the things that I'm pretty sure Al will want to talk about for him to talk about. But yeah, the developer, you can see what they do best, and they were just improving upon that and adding the indie flavor. And you can see this game was a work of love. And just like Sven Wing said at the Game Awards, this is something that absolutely deserves being given a Game Award next year, because this was a labor of love. And it's a game that I wanted, and I felt really happy and never bored in a moment when I was 100%ing it. Because even the side quests are really fun, are really creative, are really interesting, and the amount of things you do, and the kinds of things you do are really great, and you are entertained all the way. That's my game of the year.
Yeah.
Wow, what a choice.
Back to you, Al.
Yeah, so I'm not doing like an ordered list. I will give my game of the year, but I'll give like the games that I played this year that really stood out for me, that I really enjoyed. And I played quite a bunch of them. First one I'm going to start off with is a bit of a left field one, which I didn't realize I was going to fall in love with so much. And that's a game called Card Sharks, which
yes.
I played it for Game Blast, or at least the end of Game Blast earlier this year, and I absolutely fell in love with the entire game, the art style, the story, the concept of the game. It's a game where you're there to cheat at cards. The name of the game isn't playing cards; it is cheating with cards. And even though you're not, you wonder like how is it going to work? It's all done by basically quick time events and like knowing when to flip through and stop flipping through. It does require a bit of dexterity, but I think that anyone can get the hang of it very easily. I really enjoyed it. Also, great backdrop with it being the French Revolution, or at least a precursor to the Revolution. Great game, absolutely. Still, it definitely deserves to be on my list, in my opinion. So and it's a great little game. So yeah, if you want to go out and get Card Sharks, I highly recommend it. All right, so that then leads us into a few other ones for the year. One I quite liked very much was Pacific Drive.
Oh yes.
Which was a game of the year which actually was one of the nominees for the game of the year. One of the nominees for like indie game of the year. It's a driving survival game where you basically play a guy a person who's been displaced into what's called an exclusion zone, where there's weird shit going on. Like, we're talking like weird paranormal things going on that's also science can't really explain, and you are tied with this old station wagon that you have to basically keep repairing up and acts as your transportation and your protection. And it's a great little game. High recommend. You got to maintain the car, repair the car, fit the car with new gadgets and gizmos, while also going out to the zone. It is one of the few roguelikes I can say that I've actually quite enjoyed. I'm not really a roguelike person, but I've quite enjoyed Pacific Drive. It's definitely got a vibe to it.
Driver edition.
Would you say that it's like Control but in a car?
Control but in a car, yeah. Or as Lemming says, Stalker Car Edition. Very much aspect of that, yeah.
Yeah.
You have been adopted by the car. Please do not resist.
Exactly. And then, as you can see, there's some weird shit out there in the occlusion zone, so you've got to kind of... It's not a horror game. It definitely has creep vibes. So, yeah, not for the faint of heart, but still. End of the day, you always respawn back at the garage, so...
Yeah, you look at it, and you go, I don't want to fuck with you. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna
You look at it like, I'm not going to mess with that. I'm just going to repair my car and get back in and get on my way.
all right, we're cool. We're cool.
Yeah.
We're cool.
Exactly.
Yeah, understandable. Have a nice day.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is another pick for my recommendations for the year. One that I also picked up and then fell in love with immediately, although it is quite old because the sequel only came out this year, and I only tried the game for the first time myself this year, and that is Frostpunk, which is a city building game, but it is a city building survival game. And I've actually been meaning to stream it. Hang on. I think you were muted, Shadow.
No, I wasn't. I was mouthing why I don't. This is why I won't play it.
Yeah, this is I quite like the idea of having to be efficient with your city building, and especially it's funny when you've got voices in your ear saying like order, you must have order in the city, and then it's like, no, you must have faith, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, you two, give it a rest. I'm speaking, of course, about Mist and Divot.
there's me just going, child labor. Send the children yearn for the
Yeah.
fight. You're like, no, shut up, Shadow.
Like,
I
no,
mean,
there'll be
the
no
thing
child
about
labor in my
crazy
city.
Decisions, yeah. I mean, the thing about crazy decisions you have to make that game is you can have child labor.
You can, yeah, and it, and
And you can have cannibalism.
yeah, it's interesting that the worst decisions are the ones that make the game a hell of a lot easier. It's hard to stay
Yeah.
the course, which is the point.
I mean, not only do you have those two, you also have Dan Bull and the Stupendium whispering in your ears as well.
Yes, as well.
They did a very good rap track based on Frostpunk.
See, I highly recommend for Frostpunk.
Yeah. Evac's a better person than I.
Oh, you're too kind. But no, that is another recommendation of mine. I'm also going to put in a feather in the cap for Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown.
It deserves it.
It absolutely does, and it's criminal. The game was poorly marketed, and people didn't really kind of gel with it, or whatever reason.
Fuck you, Ubisoft.
Yeah, they sent it out to die. This is
Yeah,
one of the best Metroid.
Restricted to Ubisoft.
Yeah, and that. Yeah, no, it's fine. Yeah, absolutely restricted to the Ubisoft store. This is close to being my game of the year. This is absolutely on the cusp of being my game of the year. It is one of the best Metroidvanias I have played in a long time, because Metroidvanias who give you upgrades later on, give you upgrades and that's all fine and dandy. What I think great about this game is it nails what those upgrades should be. The point that they are traversal upgrades that mean that environments that would take you minutes to get through early in the game now take seconds later on in the game, because you've now got a double jump, you've got an air dash, you've got this, you've got these tools in your arsenal that allow you to move through the environment fluidly and fast, so that you can almost areas that would give you trouble at first, you would just breeze through previously. It's also got the most amazing accessibility suites with options to skip platforming sections that you're finding troublesome if you find that you're just not adept at that, and it does not punish you for that. It's got great accessibility options. You can slow down time. It won best in accessibility options for the game from the Game Awards, as I mentioned earlier. So it is worth your time. This game is worth your time and your money.
Shit.
What?
And it's pretty shit.
It is pretty amazing. Yeah, it is the most fun I've had this year. When I sat back and thought, this is what a AAA Metroidvania should be like. Yeah. But there's two more. There's one more honorable mention before I get to the actual game of the year.
Oh.
And this is going to be a point where a lot of people watching are going to be like screaming at the TV saying, no, it's wrong. It does not deserve Game of the Year. And I'm going to put my hand up and say, that is your opinion, and you are more than welcome to have that opinion. I disagree with it. Even though I fully understand why you think it's a no. And that is Star Wars Outlaws.
Yes.
I am not going to hide the fact that I am a massive Star Wars fan, always have been, always will be. So there will always be a market for a Star Wars game for me. The game did come out. It had serious bugs and issues, but it is the most fun and immersed I have felt in a Star Wars game in a long time. I have never been able to, the feeling of living in Star Wars has never been more apparent than when I've played this game. And the fact that developers are listening to the feedback from the community is great. I do think Ubisoft should have put the game back and let it cook a bit more so that it didn't come out in the state it did. But I heavily enjoyed the game. The story is amazing. It is a huge game. I've spent, must be at least 30 or 40 hours, not touched everything, and I can't wait for the DLC that comes out. And the new DLC, the DLC that came out last month was also very good, short but very good. And I can't wait for the Pirate DLC that's coming out spring next year. It's a great addition to the Star Wars universe, and it's sad that because it was mismanaged in terms of its launch, that suffered in sales, that we won't probably get Star Wars Outlaws 2, and that is seriously criminal. I fully understand that people may look at it and say, "Oh, is it? I don't think I want to pay $60 for a game." I completely get that. Game's very expensive. I do think there's a problem with the game's pricing system, but the base game I think is absolutely worth the money, if not for the DLC. So yeah, Star Wars Outlaws is my second place if you were to have them in a tiered order for Game of the Year.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have to second you with the immersion thing because like loads of like little things that they've done, like you can definitely see that
There's
the
love.
there's love in there. Like the team were like really, really into Star Wars. Like there's like
Yeah,
there's little things like tables and chairs out for like cafes. Like it's
It's
difficult to explain. Like living quarters, like places where like you see people going in and out across like country roads and stuff like that.
and there's I think also a lot of criticism has been leveled at it that is very unfair. Like, oh, we can't play as Jedi. That's not the point. You're playing as a smuggler. Oh, it's not like GTA. You can't run over people. That's not the point of the game. Not all open world games are GTA where you can just do shit for the lols. You're playing a character, and they're trying to make you remain consistent with that character. Absolutely. If you don't like that, that's also your opinion to have. I think they're just very unfair comparisons and unfair criticisms. Absolutely, yes, the bugs were a problem, and they are being fixed. They have been fixed. I'm not. Lando was definitely thirsty for me when I was playing the game, but that's now been resolved. So I'm glad that's been resolved there.
yeah.
But the thing is, Ellie finally got his Sabat game, and now
He
he's
finally, yes. And my game of the year, I'm not going to play the trailer again. It is Indiana Jones and the Great Circle,
Hey!
because much like it does the exact same thing Star Wars Outlaws did, where it made me feel immersed in the Indiana Jones world without the bugs. So I will say that. And I know there's a lot of people say, like I've seen someone the other day saying, "This is what Indiana Jones should have been like," and it's Uncharted 3. Uncharted 4. I'm like, yeah, but I don't want Uncharted 4 Indie Edition. I want Indiana Jones. And the way they've done Indiana Jones as a first-person puzzle game with Nazi punching simulation elements as well.
Yeah.
I'm all for. I like the fact that they've tried to do something different with it. They could have very easily gone, let's make it a Tomb Raider game, let's make it an Uncharted game, and it would be very easy to do that. They didn't. They did something which is different, but still well within the wheelhouse, and it feels like an authentic indie game.
I would say because it's different, it's even more immersive.
Very much so.
Yeah, I mean, when I was watching you play it, it kept striking me again and again, like, damn, this could have been a film kind of thing. But I'm glad it's not in a way, because like I don't think it would have hit the same as a film, but it's got enough of the juice that you can look at it and go, yeah, this feels like an indie film, and that's what it should feel like, kind of thing.
No, absolutely. I completely agree with that. I'm just going to turn on my camera because I need to go down for food that may be arriving soon. But yeah, I've really enjoyed the Great Circle. It definitely, when I sat down and thought about what is the game that if I had one game someone suggests to buy and play this year, what would it be? It is hands down the Great Circle. And the fact is, it came out in late December, meaning that it was not eligible for the Game Awards. I seriously think it is a strong contender for Game of the Year next year. It's as long as GTA doesn't come out, because nothing's going to beat GTA. But I think if
still gonna get the action adventure,
it's quite the heavy hitter.
It's going to be quite the heavy hitter, and I think if Phil Spencer was very disappointed in the fact that Xbox hasn't been earning Game of the Year awards, I think next year will be the year that they get at least this game as an award.
Yeah, I definitely see also Civ 7 like pulling its weight
back.
as well. Sure.
Yeah. I just want to add one thing that Al would have added, but he didn't, which is the Whip, which is the best companion of indie, is really well coded really well added in this game. You just press one button and Indy throws his whip at the enemy. You can pull them by the legs, you can pull them by the neck towards you. You can throw the weapon out of their hands. You can smack them by the face and make them recoil. It's absolutely brilliant addition, and it feels it has such a strong indie vibe when you can just at any moment just press one button and the indie does the which is also combined with really great sound design because you have very meaty, very powerful punch sound effects, and occasionally you will get a random Wilhelm scream from
It's so
the Nazis
fucking
thrown off places.
Yeah, you throw a Nazi out of a window and you just hear.
funny.
Yes, exactly.
And that's what you should do in Nazis.
Yes.
I gotta say, like
Yeah.
like even though I don't like fascists, and seeing them beaten up is very funny. Some of the attack animations are a little brutal, kind of thing. Even I was kind of wincing a couple of times, like, ooh.
I mean, no one likes to be hit with a sledgehammer in the crotch, but they deserve it though.
I mean, yeah, kind of brutal. You're still muted, friend.
You're still muted.
He's had his voice stolen.
By the Nazis.
The Nazis stole Ebak's voice.
Hold on.
Hold on. Our friend has had his voice stolen.
I will
There we go.
actually have
I-
to.
Hey!
I actually have to
Yeah.
leave you guys
What to-
for a moment.
To be fair, we need to shut down the show anyway. We're running soon because we're running over a little bit. But where was I? When did you lose my voice?
Well, we were talking about well, Bo was talking about like how quick the whip is,
Yes.
and he's thinking about. We were talking about violence against Nazis, basically, and how
An important factor in this game is the whip. It is a piece of indie iconography, and a unique weapon for indie. And a lot of games have tried to do the whip justice, and they have all come up with a little bit of problem. Like in the Fate of Atlantis, it was mostly used as a tool, very rarely as a weapon, which is fine. It had its good moments. In the Infernal Machine, again, used as a tool, not a weapon. You can use it as a weapon, but it's clunky. You've got to go to the inventory. You've got to select the weapon. You then got to pull it out. You then got to use it, and that means you can't have a gun out because you then got to pull the gun out and such. Same thing for Emperor's Tomb. You got to switch to the whip. Having the whip tied to just a button press, so you can like whip at a moment's notice, is such an important piece of game design, and they nailed that.
Yeah, and I think that really sort of helps you sort of settle into being indie as well, because you see him in the films, like him using the whip is a quick snap decision kind of thing. It's using it as it should be, which is a quick attack to startle an enemy, to just make them drop things, but also as a utility as well.
Oh, absolutely. Well, that has been us talking about our games of the year 2024. Yeah, it's been quite a year for us.
Yeah.
For us, for
It's been a busy one.
I'm not sure when Burr will be back, but we need to kind of move the show along and get, because most likely Lewis is waiting for us as we've run over a little bit of time. So yeah, I want to thank. Go on.
I was just gonna check. Yep, they are switching over to Dale and Dawson right now.
All right then, guys. We're actually going to be on Weird FTW stream, so we're going to raid into Weird. So if you want to stick watching us, we're going to be on Dale and Dawson's having an office party, apparently, according to Lewis. If anyone doesn't know Dale and Dawson, that isn't a game of the year, but it certainly is in there as one of my favorite party games of the year, because basically
Oh,
it's
that's
so.
an honorable mention.
It should have been an honorable mention, actually, thinking about it. Dale and Dawson, social deduction game, but it's set in an office environment. We're going to switch over to there. So stick around for the raids. We're going to raid into Weird FTW. We'll see you all over the next time. The next time you'll see the podcast, of course, the last Tuesday of the month. Anyone who's curious, every last Tuesday of the month we air. So, of course, you'll next see us on the 28th of January. Next time you'll see me, it's likely Thursday, hopefully finishing off the Great Circle. And, of course, Saturday, Silly Voices will be back this Saturday as well. So, yes, don't go anywhere. We'll be literally hitting into Weird FW. There might be a small intermission with him because he's doing the Mad Lad's doing a 24-hour live stream. He's a mad lad. We'll see you over there. My name's been Eback. Thank you for being here at Scratching Image. We've been joined by Burr, who is currently an absentee right now. We've been joined by Ursula Lemming and Shadow Phoenix Rider. We'll see you later, everyone.
Bye.
So